on my list, I have the Jon Snow's. I've never seen so many white people in one place. 'Cause I was actually watching it when it happened on Channel. Jon Snow's a news reporter for Channel 4.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah,
that's
exactly."
He's not a news reporter. He's a presenter of Channel 4 News.
Yeah, so that doesn't make you a news presenter.
No, I mean when you say news reporter, it's like he's the
out there.
roving.
But he reports.
But when he said this, he was roving reporting.
he was
outside the House of Parliament. Don't correct me and be wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Sorry, Jon Snow. His title would not be. He's a news reporter for Channel 4. He's the presenter of Channel 4 News.
He's an anchor.
But at the time,
I said what I said.
He's a news anchor.
Whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever you like.
We ain't talking about Game of Thrones, Jon Snow, by the way. Some people out there think.
That's immediately who I thought he was talking
Me
about.
too.
But anyway, keep going.
And he said, "Well, it's quite rowdy here. You know, I've never seen nothing like it. I've never seen so many white people in one place." And I went, and then it basically ended.
For the listeners, Jon Snow, black or white?
He's a white man.
Why he's a G though?
Yeah,
a black man couldn't say that. Let's just make it be clear.
Oh yeah, there's backlash now from him saying that. Farage's listen. This is
right wing.
This is how deep it is.
Brits.
One of the other stories is the story about the EU vote about giving reparations.
Okay.
And I was just in bed with my missus and I said, I haven't even done nothing for this podcast. Let's find something. And I said, look for this on your phone. I didn't have my phone on me. And she did the search. And it was so hard to find.
That's what I was saying.
And the first thing was Daily Mail. And she clicked on it. And I said, don't click on Daily Mail. What's wrong with you? She really had to rewind quickly and we had to separate it again. But,
no.
He was like, no. Yeah, you don't click on Daily Mail. I said, come on now. You know better than that. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents and other small insects, welcome to another episode of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. This is episode 118 of season 2. Hashtag ESN Pod on all your social medias, at ESN Podcasts everywhere. I am the Podfather Stavros Boss.
Get down.
Thank you for joining us. And in the room with us, we have Mr. Wolf.
What's going on, everyone?
What is that pause there?
I don't know, but anyway,
You're hearing it.
a good worker is not necessarily the one who starts something, but the one who finishes it. Yoruba proverb this week that means to start any task is not as crucial as seeing it through to completion. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Get me? Come on, brothers, choose. Stop asking.
You need to start
your face.
Start, even if you don't finish it.
Yeah, but the
Starting is just as important as the finish.
because if you don't start at all, then
What can you finish?
starting is because let's say you want to run. I heard something actually the other day, and it was basically based on this, and they said it's better you start than just think about it. Because let's say you wanted to run a marathon and you don't do anything, it's better you start. Even if you flopped halfway through, you ran 10 miles of it. At least you ran 10 miles, instead of sitting there thinking about I want to run a marathon.
True. But I do think it depends on the task at hand.
Fair enough.
And if this task needs completion, like certain tests or subjects that our guests did this week, it's important to see them through. You get me?
Anyway,
I don't even know what that means. That sounded a bit shady.
Right, we'll get to the shade.
Just catch it. I don't even know what that
Catch the
meant.
I thought we're quite a shady podcast, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking last week. Anyway, all right, socials. We'll get to you.
Mr. Wolf on Instagram, aka Mr. Wolf on Instagram. On Twitter, I actually tweeted today or yesterday.
Did you?
That's big for me.
Why do you not really tweet?
No.
Do you not talk on the mic?
And you can catch me on Twitter on aka _ Mr. Wolf.
Okay.
We also have Big Wahala.
At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter. What's good, people?
All right, and we have some special guests. Ladies from the Two Girls One Mic podcast.
2 girls and a mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, because there is different ones.
Oh,
Get it right.
Well, you know when I think of your podcast, you know what actually comes to mind.
Yes, we know.
Did you know that beforehand?
No.
Nah.
We're not those sort of girls.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay.
Any sadistic minded person out there knows what I'm talking about. But anyways, let us introduce.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
When you type it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. God damn.
To my right, we have.
Well, that's part of our marketing ploy that, we use that name to draw people in who were expecting certain things.
Is that the viewership you want? Yeah.
We'll take what we can get. It's fine.
These girls sound nice.
Some hungry ass
They're all
brothers.
there waiting for the toilet flush.
It's never gonna come.
Yuck.
All right, let me introduce these ladies. To my right, we have She Talks.
Talks.
Too much.
A lot.
Do you want to say hello and give us your socials?
Hi. Yeah. So, She Talks at Ms. She Talks. At Ms. She _talks.
How do you spell Miss? MS?
MS.
MZ?
Let me just quickly check.
You don't?
Oh my.
No, I didn't tell you to give me wine. I didn't ask for this.
Relax.
Lord,
I didn't
it's gonna
ask
be
you.
a
You
long
didn't
night.
ask for this, but you said, can
Okay,
you
sorry,
video call me? Can you video call man so I can direct him to which drink I want? But I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it.
Lies.
I didn't ask for it.
Listen, please.
That's the one I want.
I beg, steady yourself. We don't know Cardi B behavior on there. Anybody saying that we're
Okay,
putting something in your
so
drink.
my Twitter is at She _talks. My Insta is at Ms. MS She _talks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm good.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
And
having
to
me.
her right, we have Lala, the other half of the podcast.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone today?
Great.
He's in
What's
front of
with
me.
the
now.
shrug? Would you not stop it? Give your brother a hug after this ends.
Nah, I don't remember the last time you hugged each other in embrace, you know?
Why would I hug you?
Really?
What was that?
That's actually deep, you know.
Why would I hug you?
Why would I hug you for?
Oh, no. Can you tell us your social, please? Whilst I go and wash myself with that food.
All right. So on Twitter, it's at Miss Lala Report, and on Instagram, it's at Miss Lala Works. WORKS. And I've just launched another Instagram page called Black Girl Fit Fest, which is just a celebration of women in fitness. Because I'm a personal trainer, so I've set that up. So if you're interested in fitness, all of them things there, please go follow. 'Cause I'm trying to get that up and going and live and.
Sorry.
What's that? What's that?
No, sorry. Finish.
Yeah, no, that's it. Black
That's
Girl
it.
Fit Fest.
We've had 2 personal trainers in 3 weeks.
Really? What does that mean?
I don't know. It means he's trying to drop hints that I need to lose weight. That's what he's doing.
And also, can you
Oh, you did a pig laugh.
can you follow
That's so
follow our podcast Twitter, which
Yes.
is at _2, the number 2, girls and a mic. Girls and a mic, not girls and a cup. Okay.
I will never. I wonder who's got that Twitter handle actually.
_
Can you check that Twitter?
2 girls and a mic.
And that's what is that Insta or is that both?
That's
both?
on our that's our Twitter. Our Insta is.
Got so many going on. Sorry, guys.
It's all right, man. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a
But
lot.
do you live stream your podcast
Sometimes, yeah.
just when you can be bothered?
Yeah, when we remember.
I don't have an
remember.
Insta. How does it?
Do you know what it is? You know when you get into the swing of things
You're
and
meant
you
to be
realise,
finding this while
oh
I'm.
my gosh.
I have it.
Sorry,
So
go
our Insta is _2. Again, the number 2, girls and a mic.
There's one random
Same
guy
thing.
that's flying around.
All right, wicked.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm not trying
yeah.
to slap you in the face. It's like I'm saying-
I was like, what's that shadow?
So how long have you been doing your pod?
Oh,
And why did you start?
how long have we
We've
been
been
doing it?
doing it for a minute now. We've been doing it since, I would say,
Has it been 2 years?
it's been easily 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been easily 2 years. We've been doing it since 2016, I think.
That would be 2 years.
It will be 3 years.
No,
now.
yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be 3 now.
It depends.
Really?
It depends
Yeah.
which part of 2016. you
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
because I'm trying to.
2 minus the 3, carry the 4.
Yeah, I think it's been since 2016, possibly earlier.
So whose idea was it to start it? What, how did it come about?
I remember that we both were talking about wanting to do a podcast. I knew that I wanted to do a podcast at the time, but I don't know if we just had the conversation with each other and decided we wanted to do a podcast.
Pretty much.
And then, we just made it happen.
Wonderful.
We just made it happen with two talkative women. And so we just, we have a lot of views and we just wanted to express them.
So your podcast, are you quite what's the word? Are you raw? Do you actually talk about things, or do you censor yourselves a lot?
I mean,
Like you're asking us to do here now with you.
I don't know who that was aimed at. I just don't know. But no, I don't think we are raw. I don't think we're raw in the sense that some people might think of the word raw and then think that.
Like
but we are
cursing and things
yeah,
that
it's
we don't
not
really
it's not
do
that kind of raw, but we
Yeah.
are quite, you know what we are? We're really forthright in our views about the things that we do talk about. And there is definitely a don't be scared of this. There is definitely a black feminist leaning edge to some of the stuff that we talk about. We are women.
Yeah.
We're not pick-me's. We're not down for the bullshits. We're not here for the okie dokie.
See the pick me,
So-
thing. We had that discussion last week.
Right. So
if you told me that last week, I wouldn't know what pick me is, but we found
but
out.
you know now.
The ladies explained it last week. Yeah.
Right. So
I don't know.
I think you lot are casting dispersions against good women's name by calling them pick me.
no, man.
Oh, pick-me.
Pick-me's,
Oh, yeah,
pick-me's
yeah, I
should be
found that.
pick-me's with their chest,
No.
but they're just pick-me's, and we don't play that. We don't
So
play
you're
that.
just a snub then. She talks.
I don't
Come on.
think so.
The rest, I don't know about you, Lala. I haven't. But She Talk is a snob.
I'm not a snob. I'm not a snob.
Come on, man. Your nose hooks because you look down on people so much. It looks down on the people. That's your nose is looking down.
My
on
dad's
people.
nose. Just be careful there. Just be careful there.
So you got accent there, so it's Nigerian then.
Very.
Oh, you're proud of it.
Very.
Well, there's some people out there, no names,
Last week.
that are not proud of the fact they're Nigerian.
Oh no.
They want to claim the enemy, innit?
Who's the enemy?
GH.
You know, yeah, exactly.
You don't have loads of enemies. Sometimes.
No.
What's your
We have one
Wait,
arch
Shy.
enemy,
Who's your arch enemy?
Shy.
but I don't want to go
Because you
down.
have enemies within yourselves
Come on, get
as
out
well.
there. We have no enemies. We are
Okay,
one.
wait. Show. So you're what? You're Igbo.
I'm Evo.
Are you Igbo?
Hey,
You can tell, man.
Igbo Koeno.
Listen to this.
That's the behavior. That's why she's behaving.
What have I done now?
See, this is what I mean. You got enemies, but
I didn't say there was anything wrong
you're
with her
throwing the
behavior.
shade and catching it.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with her
throwing
behavior.
it back.
I didn't say it
You're
in
lucky
a
that
bad
Simple
way.
Simon's not here because Simple Simon's your Igbo people. I know you will come in with your leaf and
Simple Simon.
if you're waiting for somebody to come that he can claim as an Igbo.
Hey, Simple, I know you're listening. When we said, the actor's not coming in, they sat there silent. When we said Simple Simon's not coming in,
Did they?
Yeah.
Why do people like Simple Simon?
who knows?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Why did they like him though?
It's me that said that. 'Cause I've known him for years.
Oh, you know him
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
That's your
Let me
problem.
see his
That's
picture.
why he's not coming.
I don't know him.
There's no pictures of him anywhere. Apart from our social
And
media.
he always like he actually tweets us from time to
good.
time, which is nice.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, Simple. Pick me. Simple's a big pick me. Anyway, pick me. It's a big pick me. Every man here is a blazer pick me. But anyway, that's alright.
Am I a pick me?
Are you a pick me? You're too lazy to be a pick me.
Oh wow.
Probably.
It's all right. That's fine.
Maybe laid back, not lazy.
Both for the pick me.
I like that.
Both.
All right. So should we get to your topics first, or should we start talking about what we were talking about before we recorded?
Hanging at the passenger side of his best friend's ride.
Okay.
Trying to holler at me.
So before we started recording, we were discussing their last episode where they were besmirching good people's names just because they earn less than certain wages. I don't know what the minimum is, but
I don't
hopefully
even know.
they'll tell me.
I don't remember any of
I
that.
don't remember any of that.
They were telling me
Asia, boy. Let's say that all men are waste. Any man that don't earn enough money to take them to Dubai
Wow.
often is waste.
Guys,
slander.
That was that's
If you don't have a
clearly
5-bedroom
not what we
mansion
said.
in London, you are
That's
waste.
clearly not what we said.
They even said 1-bedroom studio flat is waste. Even if you got no kids and you're on your own, that's waste.
No.
That's what you do. You invite guests on your show. You just gonna lie.
No island in your kitchen. Waste.
That's just, it's not marble.
Waste.
Like, what is this? How dare you?
You ain't got a 2018 car at minimum.
Where's the walk-in wardrobe?
Awful.
Waste.
Where am
None
I
of
going to
this.
store my thousands of pairs of shoes.
None of this was said. Can everyone please go and listen to episode 4, season 2 of the Two Girls in My Podcast?
Are you sure it's
to see
episode 4?
exactly what we were listening to. To see exactly what we were talking about.
Not 5, yeah?
No, it's not 5.
Okay,
it's not 5.
Chris one's been listening. You move on listening. He's aware.
It's 4. It's 4.
All right. Okay, so to be real, then they were discussing No Scrubs. I posted it actually on our Twitter page a few weeks ago because it's the 20-year anniversary of that. Is it 20 years or 25 years?
No idea.
It's the 20
25. It's 20 years now. I think.
20 years. 1999, I think. Oh, but it's an anniversary of that song, anyways. No Scrubs by TLC. So obviously, for those of you that don't know, it's a song where they were just drabbing men that don't come correct. Is that a politically correct way of putting it? Men that are not about it.
Nah, they were talking about men that are average earners.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
that just so happens
average
to be
earners
on the passenger side of the car.
We quoted the opening bars of that song.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
A scrub
quoted.
is a guy who thinks he's fly, and he's also known as a buster.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, go on. Karen, continue.
yeah.
Always bragging about what he's got, but just sits on his broke, being the operative word.
Yeah, she is.
Arse.
But what is the problem if he's got it?
He doesn't. He
They
sits on
never
his
said they didn't have
arse.
it. They never say they say it was brassic. They never say he didn't have.
Always
trying to
bragging about what he's got, but sits on his broke ass. I mean, it's there for the...
Okay.
Quite explanatory.
I bet he gets girls same way.
Exactly.
So what's the issue?
What is broke? How much is a man earning for him to be broke?
Oh, come on. We all must know what broke is.
No.
Because your broke is a different person's broke.
Yeah. So everyone has a different
No,
level of broke.
everyone's broke is broke. If you can't afford to live, then you're
How about if you can
Do you think the two of you got different versions of broke?
No.
She answered for you.
We
I
got the
agree.
same.
We've got the same.
Okay.
Names before.
Okay, so what are we classifying as broke then? If you're earning 25k and live with your parents, is that broke?
But like the song said, if you're broke and you're sitting, not doing anything, you're just idle. To me, I can't deal with somebody like that because to me, you don't want to elevate yourself out of a situation that you're in. So if you're happy to sit in that brokenness, whatever that means, I can't come in there and sit in there with you.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense. I like people with ambition.
Exactly.
Me and my cousin actually was having a conversation about this on the way to where we going? Like Tool Station, I think it was. We was doing some gardening today. So
Hey, you that black man
so
gardening.
we was doing some gardening. So we was talking about it and we were saying what was we discussing? We were talking about different types of things and we ended up talking about women and what type of women, especially we were talking about black girls at the time. So we were saying, black girls are not prepared to put themselves on a certain level for their men. And he was saying that. He was basically saying that black girls are not prepared to lower their expectations for any man, right? Mm-hmm. It's not something that they're prepared to do. And I said, well, yeah, that's true. And they said, but their expectations has to be above what they're doing. So if I'm doing this, their expectation should be that you should be at least level with me or above. And I said, I don't know if it's that, but they have to be showing some form of ambition that they want to do something with themselves before they will maybe entertain that person.
Forward motion.
Yeah. So if you feel like if you're doing this and you feel like you're okay with this and they think it's below what they think you should be doing, they will be upset with that. But if you're doing this at this present moment in time and they think that in 5 years' time you could potentially be up there somewhere, you'll be happy with it.
All right.
Is that true?
Okay.
She talks.
So I take exception with a lot of that conversation because we need to be careful when we're talking about black girls. There's a lot of black girls in this world,
I know.
And you and your cousin may just know the ones in maybe London or maybe a particular area in London.
We're talking about Igbo girls. Keep going.
Or right, so it might, but that still could just be Igbo girls in London who might be very different from Igbo girls in America, who might be very different from Igbo girls in Nigeria, and also your empirical evidence is only going to be based on your really micro circle. So it's very difficult to sort of take what you know from just the girls that you know or from the girls that you've heard of that your peoples know, and then extrapolate black girls, blah blah blah.
Was I wrong though?
That's definitely. I think
because you think he's generalized.
I think
where I'm wrong.
I think you're generalizing, and I'm not sure if the word black as a descriptor needs to be in that sentence.
I don't deal with white girls, so I don't care about them.
I know, but you may not care about them, but putting black in there makes it seem as though it's a black thing.
But we were
and
having
it
a
might
discussion.
not be.
We weren't having a discussion about all girls. We was having a discussion about black girls.
But do you see what I mean? If you put black in that sentence, then it makes it seem as though that's some
Only
kind
black
of
girls.
that's some kind of
That's a character trait that we
differentiation
have.
But we
type
wasn't.
thing.
But we wasn't talking about other girls.
I
We were
know.
talking about black girls.
But then,
So if-
okay,
if-
so
if-
but
if you
because
ask me about other girls, I'll give-
if that's already said, then the word black didn't even need to be in there because you don't deal
Well, he's
with
explaining
white
something
girls.
to you.
No, because the other person might deal with white girls. The discussion was about black girls.
So you're just really talking about the girls that you know, the girls that you've dated.
I'm particularly still gonna, yeah, okay. If you want to put it that
So
way,
that's what it
but
is
I
then.
still think it's. I don't think it's necessarily the girls that I know. I could say from what I've seen, because unfortunately we live in a world now.
That's
Unfortunately
such a
and
small
unfortunately,
pool,
that we live in a world where people that you don't know are still showing their expectations and what they believe in online.
But
So
online's a bag of phoniness anyway.
He
Let's
asked,
be real about
where's he
that.
wrong? Black women expect a man to be at their level or above. If they are below whatever this level is, whatever the level is, whatever you just see as level, as long as they're ambitious and they're trying to get somewhere and you feel that they have the potential, then that's cool as well. Which part of that do you say that's wrong?
I just say the word black
Forget
in there
that bit.
makes
Then.
it
Forget that
seem
bit.
like
Okay, leave that bit out. Which
Yeah.
part is he wrong in?
no one said he was wrong. My
That's
issue,
how you
but
started
no, I
off.
said I take two issues with that.
So
The first is the word black being in there.
Okay.
And the second I was going to say was depending on how it's said, because I don't know if this conversation was like, oh, black girls expect, or, oh yeah, black girls expect, which is, the connotations from that conversation are different, because where I'm landing on with all of this is, what do you expect them to expect?
Well, that's what I was saying. I was saying to them, I don't see there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I was saying it depends on, for me, it all depends on how you start this discussion that you're having with the person. If you get to the discussion and that person's saying, well, this is what I'm on, don't follow me unless you're on this, and you follow them, that's your business, isn't it? If they come with a situation where they're like, I'm prepared to accept you for who you are, I'm not going to change you, and then later on they try to change you, then I'll say there's an issue. But I don't see anything wrong. I do see something wrong with people trying to force people into ambitions that they don't want.
Yeah.
That's what I got a
That's
problem
always
with.
wrong across
So
the
if
board.
somebody's happy with what they are and you met them and they were happy and they never told that they was looking to be, they're saying that they're working as a nurse and they're prepared to be a nurse all that time. They're not looking to go and be a doctor later. If you're going to now complain about them not being a doctor later, then why did you date them as a nurse when they told you they were happy? That's the issue I'd have with something like that.
Yeah.
But if they said to you, I'm wanting to be a doctor, and then you're going out of your way to try and push them to be a doctor, then I don't have much of an issue with that, because they said they wanted to do something and you're trying to aid them in that advancement of themselves.
Yeah.
But still, if they still tell you, you know what, leave me alone now, it's still their life, you have to leave them.
Yeah. I mean, I saw something on Instagram just maybe today or yesterday, and it was some guy, I think he was a pastor or something, and he was preaching and he was saying that women should be careful not to fall in love with, or not to date potential. You've got to date factual.
That's what we've been preaching on this podcast for the past 2 years.
I'm the king of that.
More than 2 years.
When
10 years or
When
more.
you finish, I'll get into that.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with that, and I also completely agree with, if to be realistic with you, like bants aside, black women are in many ways disadvantaged in this country, and one of the ways in this whole kind of society that we live in that one can advance oneself is financially. Financials give you freedom, it gives you a certain level of respect, it opens doors for you, and I do not encourage any women, but in particular black women, because like you, I'm only interested in black women. I date men, but I'm only interested in the advancement of black women when I start talking about women on this level. My thing is, women should not financially disempower themselves when they are already in a disempowered position. To me, that's foolish.
Yeah,
and that's why I wouldn't be dating no scrub.
Wow. Foolish, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's foolish.
Expand what you mean by that.
I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Financially disempower. To go out with somebody that doesn't earn as much as you.
That's not what I said.
Well, we're talking about-
That's not what I said.
That's why I should
relationships,
expand.
though. We're talking about relationships.
I'm talking about somebody who is. I didn't necessarily say earns less than them. We spoke about potential versus the reality of things.
Okay.
But my thing is, even when I have girls come and do work experience with me, I always say to them, I even said, don't come into my career anymore. We've rinsed it. I'm at a level where it's rinsed out. You're not going to make no money here anymore. Do not do it, because I don't want you to financially disempower yourself. In the same way, I would advise women, do not financially maybe yoke yourself to a guy who's not going anywhere. Doesn't matter. I've not said the words.
You really climbed up the ladder and then pulled the ladder up behind you.
No, that's not about it.
Don't come here. You're not going to make no money up here.
No.
Go over there. Over there. You can make some money.
No. If I were a gatekeeper, I would accept that comment. But unfortunately, I'm not. If I were, and I could be dishing out the money, I would. I can give opportunities, but when I give those opportunities, I say, look, this opportunity can get you so far, but this is not the career I commend to you. There's no money here. We're pegged to the government. There's no money here. Why would you do that? Go into industry.
Okay.
Go into that area of law. And it's the same way I would say to women, young girls, whatever. When you go into a relationship, do not financially yoke yourself to somebody who's not going anywhere, because you have struggles ahead of you. And it's gonna be even more of a struggle. For what?
Lala, you agree?
Which kind love?
I do.
You'll be telling me, but I love him. Which kind dirty love? Why
do you have to do like Cheryl said on the podcast? Why are we expected to do struggle love?
Struggle
all
love.
The time?
Why? That's long.
Would you advise your daughter to do the same?
Okay, because you said it on your podcast.
Yeah.
Most men wouldn't. The thing
Absolutely
you would give,
wouldn't. I know.
I wait patiently. Yeah.
Guys that I know with daughters, they're always telling them go for the best, go for the best, go for the best.
Exactly.
However, when we have conversations like this, it's like they forget their daughters exist, and all of a sudden, oh, you should date the guy that is driving on the passenger side, as we mentioned on the show.
Of his best friend's ride.
Why do I need to date down, but your daughter can date, the prince, the king, the this, the that? I'm someone's daughter too. Yeah, okay. I'm someone's, auntie. I'm someone's this. Don't I deserve the best? Like how your daughter deserves the best.
I am somebody.
Right, exactly. It is. It's the same thing. So I just really don't subscribe to just dating someone who is just an actual bum just because.
Wow, actual bum.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see where the problem is here. To be
What, in
honest.
dating a bum?
No, in what you guys are saying, I can't really see what the issue is.
I didn't see what the issue. I wanted to expand it, but
Okay.
I wanted to see what
Do you
Steph
have an
says.
issue with it, bro?
I will say, I have a daughter, and I disagree with what you are saying, because I feel there's too much emphasis placed on the finances. Because when this discussion, I'm a romantic, blatantly. I'm one of them kind
And
of
a
guys.
sensitive.
I'll say when I met my missus, she was earning more than me, and if that was and I was somewhere along the lines of the money I mentioned earlier on. By the way, I was even less than that.
Okay.
No, was that less? I was around it anyways. I was around it. No, but for those that none of you know what we're talking about, but I was earning
A figure
that some people would cry if the thought of going out with somebody like that.
You wouldn't even think
cry.
about it. They wouldn't even think about it. They'll finance your life.
But it gave her a headache.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
cry.
An
I'll
immediate
just
one.
be like, where's that going?
Panadol.
Okay, yeah. There are many women that wouldn't have gone out with me in this day and age.
And they
Because
still
nearly 10 years I've been with her, or 9 years. In this day and age, wouldn't have gone out with me knowing what I earned at that point.
But can I also
nine
pause
years
you?
ago.
Can I also pause you?
Go on.
If you rewind us back 10 years, if you had asked me that question 10 years ago, I might have said something different.
Okay.
So there are factors that make me
Yeah, how
say
old are you?
it now.
I did ask you that as well beforehand.
She's like, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Pull the plug.
Pineapples is the safe word. Pineapples.
Pineapples. It's
Pineapples.
It's always pineapple, isn't it? 2 girls, 1 cup pineapple. All right. But my thing is, what I would advise to my daughter is that there are other factors outside of finance.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, she sorts herself out to the point where hopefully you ladies, or it seems like you ladies are so self-sufficient that the finances from the man is a supplement as opposed to a necessity. Yeah, that's what I want for my daughter. That anything the man is bringing to the table financially, it helps. And I do believe, I'm an old-fashioned dude, so I believe in man being a breadwinner. So that is one of the reasons I guess I leapfrog my wife, because it's like, now we're together. Because I was chilling before. Money was, because I'm not a money person. I love money, but I'm not a money person. It doesn't make any sense. So it got to the point where, really, it was when I proposed to her. No, in fact, I didn't propose to her till I got my promotion.
You see?
The day I got my promotion, I went to her dad and I said, can I marry your daughter? Because I didn't feel
sensible
that
guy.
that I could, I just felt that day was a day that I felt I'm the man now to be able to take your hand and to say, shut up, I earn more money than you, go to the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
This is what the ladies are talking about.
this is what we're saying.
But she was with me when I was earning gasp money. You understand?
But she didn't see a bum.
Thank you.
That's fine. But this potential thing, because I am not ambitious. I'm not ambitious. And you can't look at me and say there's potential. Maybe she did. There was a lot of women that said I had potential for whatever reason back then.
I think everybody says that.
But you are ambitious because you've literally just said.
I just told you I'm not ambitious.
No, but you are. You literally, you proposed to your wife and you didn't want to, propose until you got your promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly you were aiming for that. Because
and that's an ambition.
You know that you knew that you needed it. And there are men out there that literally wouldn't give two, whatever about a promotion.
But also,
they're just happy to sit in the position that they
get an
are.
Argos ring.
Also,
H.M.
can I
Samuels.
just say as well that ambition is not just about work. We're focusing so much about work. Your ambition was also to be the head of your household. That's an ambition.
I was the head from beginning. It didn't matter.
Yeah, but no. I know, but you wanted that to be reflected.
It's just solidified
in how much.
Not solidified. Reflected.
Yeah,
reflected in my finances.
Yeah, reflected in your finances before you went to her dad and made the whole thing official. So that's an ambition. We're not just talking about making
that
senior
happened all
management
6 years ago. That's finishing with that. Am I still ambitious now?
Can I just say something on this particular topic as well? Because the same cousin I was talking to, we actually touched on this topic because we were talking about people that we know that's got the potential to do great things and don't actually always meet up to that potential or has not met up to that potential. And Stav's the one person that we all say is capable of doing anything. He's like one of the most talented people that we know. But because he's of a nature,
he's the lazy one, bro.
Yes, he's very
in
lazy.
that respect when it comes to himself.
He's lazy in that capacity. And he's happy with what he's doing most things times. But then we were talking about it, and I said to him, I don't know if this man's gonna attack me now. Because I said to him, the minute his wife told him that he wants him to either be a millionaire or do this seriously, he'll do it tomorrow.
Oh, you see.
That's my opinion.
Who's older out of you two, please?
He's older than me.
I'm not sure about that.
No.
He's older than me.
I married somebody who didn't think like you ladies. No offense. I wouldn't ever marry somebody that said the kind of things that you ladies are saying.
No. Don't say that. Don't say the kind of things that you ladies. You have to expand upon each and every point because I don't want anyone thinking that we've been saying some wild shit out here.
No, I'm talking about what you said on the podcast. If I went on a date with you and you said that, then there's no date two. Regardless of what you think about me, I've made up my mind that we are not compatible because if I could be earning whatever I'm earning, I could be driven whatever I'm driven, but something happens to me and I don't have that anymore. I don't want somebody that was a indicator to whether we should be together or not. I don't want it because when that's gone, if that goes, God forbid, anything can happen. So it could just be that you could meet a man who ticks most of the boxes you like, including the financial one. And then once he loses that for whatever reason, and let's say it's finite, it's not going to change. This is how it is, and let's say it is off his own back.
What do you mean off his own back?
So let's say it's not that his foot got chopped off. Let's say he lost his job and he went into depression and he wasn't on it getting a new job.
So then words like commitment and all of that just go out of the window. We're just out here just talking.
But then this is my point because money.
No, you're being unrealistic. You're looking at things in a vacuum. No, you're looking at things in a vacuum.
We've been talking about male depression recently. No, but okay, when I was dating people, it was very Lego kind of thing. Do you fit into this box or no? And that's a box. So you can say is I understand what you're saying, but I don't need to make it more complicated than that. It's just, are you the type of person where this is a major factor? Would you say it's a major factor or minor?
The fact is, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, go.
There are going to be things that are going to be drivers for me. So there are going to be things that I find attractive in men. One of them is not men who are sitting on their broadcast, to quote the song, bragging about what they've got, but doing nothing.
All right.
So for me, scrubs are out of it. You've given me an arbitrary figure. I've said, man, that don't really sound like much. I have to be honest. It doesn't sound like much.
Of course.
But the reality of it is that if I met someone and I got with them and they had X, Y, and Z, or they were doing X, Y, and Z, or they earned X, Y, and Z, that wouldn't be the reason why I was with them. That would be...
It'd be the reason you're not with them.
No, that would get them past a certain... The way that we're talking, it's like maybe you think that we're saying it just
You have
has
to be
that.
earning that, and then
Because you
that's
meet
it.
people
There's
that
more.
are earning. Trust me,
Yeah.
you meet people that are earning that,
Nobody's saying
and they
that.
don't
Nobody-
make that. They're not. They couldn't even no.
Explain what you mean. They're making it or they're not making it.
You can meet people that are making that,
Yeah.
but them not make it.
I don't know.
In
what that
terms of they're not, you wouldn't even go on a date with them.
Oh yeah, but that's
so it's
yeah,
not
but,
the
okay.
deci-
Nobody's
so
saying
it's not
that.
the
Nobody's saying
deciding-
you're just going out with somebody just for money. Nobody's
Right.
saying
So
that.
then that's why I said it's unrealistic to say if they lose it, all of a sudden you would get rid of them. Why would you when you
No,
know
there's
that there
people-
were going to be
but
other
there's
things
there's people
that would
that do
keep?
that,
I know,
There
but
are
we're not
people,
those
yeah.
people. If he's saying that he's not saying that, what that comment doesn't.
But
I think we're confusing things. Remember, we were saying specifically if we're dating somebody and they're earning a certain amount, which might be considered quite low, for London wages, and they're not doing anything at all.
It's above average for London wages.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Nowhere near average. That's well above average.
I'm just saying, whatever the case may be, let's just say it's a little bit below what you would consider a good wage to be living in London. Okay.
Alright.
So for me, if somebody's just happy with that, I couldn't personally do it.
There
I just-
will be
That is
other.
fine.
No, but the
But
thing
that's
is,
my point.
there
That's
will
why I'm
be
saying-
other things. There will be things
Yeah.
that would be why. It's not the number that's on the check at the end of the month that would be why.
Because I'm thinking, don't you want to do a little bit more? And if a little
I'm
bit more
telling
means that
you.
you have to work a little bit more to get a little bit extra,
Okay.
then why wouldn't you want to do that?
Okay.
Like,
Hold on,
me,
hold on.
like
That kind of
speaking-
attitude
speaking-
that
like,
I just
speaking-
find a
speaking for
turn off.
myself personally, okay?
I love
I'm somebody
driven
who last year left a job that I was doing where I was earning pretty good money, and then I became a full-time personal trainer.
Well done.
I had to start from scratch.
started from the
I
bottom.
said to
now we're
Cheryl numerous times all last year, that's the brokest I've ever been
Telling
in my
you.
life. And I was not happy to just sit in there because I had the job of my dreams. It's like, I need to make this work. So I need to have somebody who has that same drive as me to make it work.
That's
because
what it is,
Because I
drive.
understand what it's like to be sitting in a position that you don't want to sit in, doing a job that I love, but it's like, I love this job, but I don't love this money. I can't be earning on this. I do not want to be sitting here in this position.
Alright,
So
yeah.
I don't want my man to be happy sitting in that position when I know what it's like.
It's not attractive.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question
It's definitely
then?
not attractive.
So let's say that he was a person that was earning that money, that figure that we spoke about,
Mm-hmm.
but he was doing a lot of community work on the side, which meant that a lot of his other time was spent doing that community work. But the only reason where he could do that is because he was in that job that was allowing him to get
You
that
see,
pay.
now that's a good question because
Would you
that is
then-
attractive.
Would you then say to that person, you know what, laters? Okay, that's different. All right, because
I
Do
don't
you know what?
yeah.
I don't think I would. I think they would have had me at community work.
see, I think, and you said when you said what when Steph said that figure, yeah, and you said what we said, what you said, it reminded me of something because I only knew how privileged I was with my old salary before, yeah. I say my old salary because I'm jobless at the moment, but which is funny because what he said actually happened to me. So basically, I had a job that was paying me a lot of money, or let me say a lot of money, decent money, and then I got made redundant. So for the past almost 4 months, I haven't been working. I'm getting married in a couple of months' time.
Oh wow!
All right, exactly. So
Pressure.
my missus has shown me now that she's not left me. She's still there
Yeah.
doing wedding
Exactly.
things. So yeah, but in the end, I'm not the person that she met. Me, it's weird. Me without money is a very different me. I'm not saying that I've got. Well, he called me drunk Phil Mitchell when I ain't got a job, and that's how I feel. Mate. Like, I feel like I'm proper out there. I don't know what I'm doing myself. I'm going to Tesco carrying my change. I never used to do all of this stuff, so I'm being very frivolous about. Like he keeps saying, "Oh, you can afford it." I'm like, "No, I can't. I don't know when the money's
Frivolous.
coming."
You mean the opposite.
Yeah, sorry,
Frugal,
whatever. Frugal.
frugal.
Yeah, I keep making mistakes. Frugal
Because you're jobless.
yeah, it's turned me mad. Like, seriously, it's turned me absolutely mad. I don't think I'm depressed, but
Shout out.
I'm in a bad place. Yeah, with the fact that I haven't got a job, it's put me in a bad place. But I only knew that I was privileged in my wage when one time I was sitting down with a couple of people very close to me, and it just so happens that wage came up, and I said, "Anyone earning that wage? How can you be? That's so minor." And the person's like, "I earn that wage," and that person I respect so much.
Yeah.
I respect that person so much. Yeah, when I turned out that's how much they earn, I was like, "Wow." And I'm just talking like, and I know how that person is. I know the type of person they are. I can't say they're not a driven person. I can't say that they're not somebody that's ambitious in certain things. I can't say that I don't respect that person at all. I respect them more than probably most people in this world. But when he told me that was that wage, I was like, right. And this is the way I'm talking about people that's earning that wage, not knowing that there's somebody that's close to me that's earning that. And I was like, right.
So
Maybe I don't know what that wage means.
So-
To be honest
When you
with
get to a certain point, you say you can't go below it. And when you start seeing that below that, it's like, how did I even live on
and
that?
to be real with you, you know, we're both self-employed, and as Lars said, she in her transition, she was on some, you know.
Are you like that now?
I was like, you.
Is it?
Like,
What? She transitioned.
Yeah, you can't use that word again.
Yeah.
But
in her career.
We needed one of them
In
on the
her
podcast.
career,
I've got some questions for you. I've got some questions for you.
transition.
Hey, who's your surgeon, man?
In her career transition, and trust and believe. I've had some lean years in my profession. I've had some years where, I asked about how much did I make in a particular. I remember I phoned one of my clerks. I said, in my old chambers, I said, how much did I make in that period? I gave him 2 dates, and he told me, and I said, no, the full 12 months, not 6 months. And he was like, no, that was it. And I was like, the fuck? That was like, I've had bad times. So I wouldn't want anyone to dump me because of that. But the point is, I'm driven. I'm ambitious. And so the thing is, it's not a number that would make me say, I don't want to date that person. It's when you say a number like that, it kind of it makes me feel, and I might be wrong, but it makes me just think of someone who's coasting, somebody who's like, just kind of.
I think when you say the word bum, in my head I just picture somebody sitting in their house.
No, I don't even
bunning weed all day, playing PlayStation.
No, that's the
waiting for their girlfriend to come home.
No, but
that's
for them.
That's
what I mean when I say.
Okay.
No, but I'm just saying on a wage level, I'm not even talking about somebody who's sitting at, I'm just talking about maybe somebody who does go out to work. And I will always be thinking, hold on, but aren't there other positions that you could be doing? Is there anything else that you're striving for? When I meet people, I want to know, like, where do you want to be in
Tell me about
3 years, in 5 years? I know where I want to be. Where do you want to be? Is it still on the same .K?
Just to put a pin on this, just to go back to what I tell my daughter and how I see myself. There are many facets and factors into what you're dealing with a person. Financially, I'm not saying ignore finance. I don't believe that, especially if you're living in London, especially if you're not earning peas. Finance is a thing. That's cool. But there's just so many other things, like you said.
Yeah.
She talks. There's just other stuff. So how does he treat you? Is he intelligent?
Yeah, of course.
Does he treat you like?
Does he give back to the community like he was saying? Because that is.
You ain't got enough money to give back.
No. But someone that gives their time.
You don't need to give
to
money.
our particular community.
Yes,
that's a big deal.
Of course. So what I say is, in my relationship, I don't look at other. I'm competitive in the sense that I look at everyone and I always gauge them compared to me. That's people say it's wrong to do that. You shouldn't compare. I compare everything. I don't look at other people and think as a husband or as a boyfriend, you're better than me. That's where I look at it. I'm a legendary husband. Yeah.
I love
Raggo.
that.
There you go. That was your ambition, was to be a great husband.
Finances.
Maybe your wife saw that in you. And
but that's my point. As a partner, I'm very confident she can't go out there and find a better partner than me.
Thank you.
But she can you can roll your eyes all you want. Financially, she can find a man.
You're trouble.
You two brothers are terrible.
This guy's a troublemaker, you know. I swear.
Just hug it out, guys.
Easily, she could find a man that earns more than me. Easily, but she can't find a man that's going to treat her like me and do certain things.
And that's why there are other factors, and that's why when you pose the question of if they lose all of that, do you go? No, because it's never just based on that.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on. You ladies had your own questions.
Did we?
Yes. Hopefully you remember them.
Okay, so I said that my one wasn't a question. Wasn't a question, but I was just like, so I was scrolling through Instagram today and I saw a post by Diddy, and he was posting about
we
him
spoke about
and
this a couple of weeks
Kim
ago.
Porter.
Yeah, go on.
And he was effectively talking about the first time that he claimed her and etc, and it was on some video shoot and blah blah blah, and people were like,
nobody hold me down, Puff Daddy and Notorious B.I.G.
Was it that? I think it was, yeah, because it had the desert behind them and they were stood by.
He said that she took a 8 or 12-hour flight and she was in the car for 2 hours to come and see him. She's always been ride or die. That's the day that I told her I loved her.
Why can't she say the story though?
Because she didn't
she's
say
dead.
it right.
She's dead.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh right. Oh sorry. I thought you were saying like, why can't Kim Porter say the story? I was like, this is so insensitive.
Sorry. I'm woman-splaining. Go on.
Right.
Finish.
So I saw that, and then some people were commenting saying, oh, but you didn't marry her, you didn't treat her right when she was here, you didn't love her. And one of the things that I was thinking about was a lot of those women were saying, oh, you didn't marry her as if marriage was the ultimate pinnacle for him to show her love. Because that wasn't it. It wasn't the fact that he didn't marry her. It was the fact that he went off with J-Lo, all this and that. He now had a chance at the same time as Kim was pregnant with the twins. It was those things. But also, I was just like, I did feel bad for him. And I was like, should we feel bad for him? But I did feel bad for him that he is the epitome of not knowing a good thing until it's absolutely gone. Ooh. And I felt like that was, I felt really hard pill to swallow. I felt sad for him. Yeah. But there were a lot of people that were really unsympathetic about it. And I didn't know if that was more the kind of social media being nasty in the comments phenomenon.
No, I think we touched on this last week or 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we did actually discuss this because he's been going through this spat of doing it. This is not the first time he's done it. Yeah. The thing is, I think this is normal, but the reason why this is a bigger deal is because he's actually responding to these people and he's actually admitting, people are cussing him. He's like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I should have done this. Yeah, you're right. So that's why people are looking at it like, this is strange. And this is where I think the sympathy comes from. Because if he wasn't responding, I don't think anyone would have any sympathy. Because you keep proclaiming your love for somebody that you didn't hold down, at least. Whichever way you want to look at it, you didn't hold her down. And then somebody says, well, why are you talking about you love her? Because you didn't hold her down. And then that would be the end of it. But because you're saying, yes, you're right, that's the issue. So we did actually speak about this 2 weeks ago. But outside...
I've got two things actually. No. So the first thing, I was listening to this online show. They were talking about Wendy Williams and her husband. So, obviously the story behind that is that, apparently he's had... his longtime girlfriend or mistress has just had a baby for him.
Legend.
Yeah. So someone was saying that they think that that Wendy has like some sort of like Stockholm syndrome because she won't leave her husband. So I was thinking to myself, is that even possible? Like,
that's
can
not
you
Stockholm
have
syndrome?
What is it like?
That's just blind love. People do that every day.
I think
people need to stop acting brand new. People do that every day. There are people in relationships putting up with some downright BS. People need to stop looking at Wendy like this is so unusual. If you know people and you know relationships, there are people that live through it, that have to breathe through it, that have to bleed and grieve through.
There's many women.
But I think the interesting thing about Wendy, given her job and the way that she's kind of built her career of literally like gangbanging on every other couple out there that's had
your lot of terminologies you are using
gangbanging. And she's out there just like cussing everyone that's having a really rocky time in their relationship, but yet for herself, she can't seem to like get up and just.
She's told many a girl to leave this man
I don't care.
It's really weird. Like I understand definitely what you were saying,
people
but
do that.
How are you so kind of adamant and so forthright in your opinion about other people's relationships that are going through the same thing that you're going through right now, but yet you can't apply that same same thing to yourself?
We don't know the situation. We don't know their situation. We are only assuming their situation, right? So that's one thing. We're not in the inner circle. We don't actually know what's going on. We don't know whether or not it's something that she's prepared to accept or whatever. I do know I don't care about Wendy Williams though. Well, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel sorry for her at all because of how nasty she's been to other people in the past.
Some people are like, I know she's been horrible, but no one deserves this, blah blah blah. So I think
bonfire. It's just what's her name? Wendy.
I don't know. I think for me, because I've seen relationships break down like this, and it's just not nice. And as much as you're right, she's a horrible person, and she's not being very nice. I don't wish this on anyone.
I don't wish it on anyone, but there's many Ghanaian women out there that have to stay with Ghanaian men. So there's a lot of things that we need to do with it in this world. A lot of things we need to help out.
But again, I don't think it's weird. I think we see that all the time. We see women and men who are able to pontificate about so many different things in other people's relationships, and when they find themselves up shit creek, they don't know what to do, and they end up staying.
There's bare aunties that we know that have gone through some shit.
I'm telling you,
some shit in their marriages, but refuse to leave their husbands. And as you said, vice versa. There's men that's there with women as well, same problem.
Yeah,
but it's just
what is it? What is this thing that's making them stay?
Shame
is I think 70% of the reason why a lot of people don't leave certain situations,
especially the old school ones.
They don't want to be the person. Shame, embarrassment, and what's the thing? Not knowing what's gonna happen after. So imagine I leave my husband that's been or my wife that I've been with for 30 years. What's gonna happen when I leave them?
And can I throw another one in there? Being financially disempowered. Some of them may be like, where am I going to go? And live how?
With what? And also, some of these women see these situations, and men but mostly women, they will see these situations as normal. That this is what men do. So I
very much
accept
so.
that men do these things, and I am I will still take care of my family same way.
That Kim Porter Puffy situation, I don't know their situation, because their situation just seemed like it was an odd situation, and I don't know whether or not there was a case where they had an understanding, and because they kept on, it's like they were in each other's life forever.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Puffy was doing, regardless of what she was doing, they were in each other's life forever. So I don't know whether or not they just had that understanding and we just don't have that same understanding that they do or not. But
I don't think so. Puffy himself said that, that in no uncertain terms that he fucked up. That he feels like he should have held her down. And I don't think that their situation was odd. I think that there's many a relationship.
I tell you what was odd. The fact that he had a 10-year relationship with Cassie, which has ended quite recently, but
didn't give her any kids and didn't marry her.
Right, and he's now saying, I messed up with Kim Porter. So if all that must be a head fuck for Cassie, because it's like, was that real? Was I just a plaything? Was I just a stopgap? Was I just a make do?
Well, they say that many men,
she's found someone else.
Many men don't actually marry the woman that they loved the most. They said they married the woman that was ready for them, or they were ready to. So they married the woman that they were found at the time they were ready to get married. Yeah. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yes.
So it could be a case that the person that they're marrying is not. He didn't marry Cassie, so that's even a different situation. But in general, it could be a case that the person just marries you because that's the time I feel I'm financial. Like what Stav said, where he said that, okay, I've got to that point now where I feel I've got my promotion, and now I'm going to propose. Some men are like that. Okay, I've got the car now. Okay, I've got the house now. Okay, I've got everything that I thought I needed. Now I need a wife. Let me go pick one. And that's how it is. And they'll pick.
So you saying I'll just pick my wife out of thin air? Let's try it again.
Well, bring it to Twitter, innit? So then, in the end, there's some man that's just like that. So then the person that they're with at that situation, when they get to that point where they feel self-contained in themselves,
right?
Then they'll be like, you know what, I can find a wife now. And it's not necessarily that they think that that's the best girl they've ever had or the best person for them. But at the time, that's when I was ready to get married.
It's like, it fits the picture now. Like, I've got everything else. I just need this one thing and I'm complete.
Yeah, I think women do the same.
Yeah, I think timing is everything though. So as much as men and women, you've got to throw that in, sometimes have to wait till they get X, Y, and Z before they decide they're ready to commit. I think that certain things align on purpose. And like I said last week or a couple of weeks ago, whenever we spoke about this subject, I feel at times that I've let that one go. So there's many friends that I've had that will tell the same story that, man, that's one that I let go and she would have been the perfect one for me. But in reality, I don't think that we aligned at the right time.
It all depends on how it is. So like, if I had met my fiance now that I'm getting married to in a few months' time, at the big
when were you married?
3 months ago, when I lost my job and I wasn't feeling great, would I be with her now? I don't know.
Timing, man.
I don't know, because I might have thought to myself, I can't even move to her because I'm looking at my change in Tesco. Do you know what I mean? All that type of stuff. You know, you never know. You don't know. I don't think I don't think I've ever been in a position where I felt like I couldn't date a person because of how I was feeling regarding my finances. So that's never been an issue for me. I've always earned enough that I've been in a good bracket for any woman to come and talk to me that's not a millionaire, basically.
So are you saying that if you was jobless at the time you met your now fiance, you probably wouldn't have moved to her?
I doubt I would have moved to her.
And the thing is,
whether or not she would have moved to me is a situation that I can't help though, because I'm that guy.
When I hear him saying this, I still don't think it's just about money, because I feel like sometimes, you know, us being in jobs and stuff is all caught up in our self-esteem and our self-worth and how we define ourselves and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily feel like, you know, even when you say, oh, because I'm not earning, it might not be the not earning bit. It might be just bit of, I just feel kind of bummy because
I'm a certain type of guy. So if I was to go on a date, I wouldn't want myself to be able to say that I had to hold back on what I might want to do because I haven't got any money. So it's certain things that's at this moment in time that, like my wedding, there's certain things that I would love to be able to do and I can't because I'm not earning any money at this present moment in time, and it's killing me. And it's a really bad thing because obviously I want her to have the wedding that she wants in her dreams, and in the end she's never gonna have the wedding of her dreams because we're not millionaires. But at least the wedding that I could have afforded. Yeah. So at the moment we're still going along, and still things are going along well. But you know, I wish I could do more. There's things I wish I could. You know, I'm worried about obviously not going above the money that I got for myself, stuff like that. So it's made me into a person that I wish I wasn't. So it's made me feel away. So I don't know if I was with this way I'm feeling now, and I was to meet somebody now. It's strange because I'm confident enough to know that I'll get a job.
That's what I'm saying.
But I did lose it. I was very up. I posted something on Twitter the other day and I meant it. Sometimes you lose confidence in yourself and there's other people around you that show you
About
to be
yourself.
confident. Because everyone around me was so adamant I was going to get a job. When I was thinking, boy, I don't know. After a couple of months' time when you're looking for a job and you start hearing people saying they've been looking for a job for a whole year and a half and not found nothing, you start thinking to yourself, right, I might not get a job, you know?
I should have said nothing.
That's frightened.
Well, not you. Don't worry. I don't take your thing.
Me, that was, look, the reason I'm cussing him, joking about it is because I wasn't even thinking about it. I told my missus the other day actually that I don't know, maybe I have to recalibrate how I'm discussing things with him, because I'm so confident he's going to get a job. I'm so confident he's even going to level up. I didn't think he's even going to earn the same money as before. I wasn't even like, oh, don't worry about it, man. We'll be all right. I wasn't even talking to him like that because like, you'll be fine. I'm not even thinking about it. It's like,
You're not worried.
Like, what about your brother?
Fine.
What about him, man? He's going to get money. Don't worry about him, man. What about me? What about me?
But you know what? In a positive way, you actually need people around you like that, because it's really important to have people telling you you will be fine. Like
financially, he's a bastard in general, but
okay, I can't speak in that. But I needed people around me to tell me you will be fine. I have faith in you. I believe in you. I know your skill set. X, Y, and Z. I can't have people around me telling me, boy,
times are hard enough.
you know what I mean? Might as well just go in a dark room somewhere and
you
just
left your
like,
job.
yeah, all of that. Can you imagine?
What, you trying to be PT? Yeah.
Put money in that there, you know.
It hits your psyche, boy.
It does. Your voice.
You got my number.
Maybe you shouldn't have done that. No, I literally have people around me telling me go for it.
It's an evil
and
world
it does.
out there.
It puts a future voice in it. It puts it all of that. It puts a battery in your back, and it makes you be proactive and go out there and know that you can go out there and get it. Because if all these people around you have faith in you, why you not got any faith in yourself?
It helped, but if I'm gonna be completely honest, the battery I had in my back, that sounds so wrong.
Stimulation
was definitely.
I know the title for this one already.
Definitely was my missus. I never wanted to ever make her feel like she was with somebody that couldn't hold her down and myself down. I've never wanted that to ever feel that way. So I never ever thought that I would get to. I never thought I'd get to this point now where I'm still not in a job, even though I've got something sorted. But
you say what?
Something. I'll tell you later. But it got me to a point where I was deep, man, and I didn't really. If she was listening to this podcast now, she'd be like, "You didn't really show you," because she was very like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine," and I was fine, and I was fine. Never a case I wasn't fine, but there was times I was like, "Rob,
You have a little niggling down.
I ain't got no job."
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, and
You're putting on a brave face, bruv.
I go to the gym, I come back home, I look for jobs all afternoon. And then I just noticed I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I started doing mad things like going onto websites that I've been on already and looking like to see if something has changed, like over and over and over again. I'm like, what kind of madness am I doing? Like, what madness am I doing? What is it? What's going to change from 5 minutes ago when I just looked on it? It was getting to the point where I was getting mad. And my sister, I drove my sister completely bonkers because every day I'm ringing my sister to say, this happened, this has happened. What do you reckon about this email that they've sent me? What does this mean? Blah, blah, blah. She's at work.
Leave me, John.
She was going to get fired the same way.
They didn't holler at me, you know.
I'm not going to go to him.
You're not the person that I will talk to you about those types of things. You are not the person that I will talk to you about most things.
Listen, when this show is done, you two we're gonna have a little bit of a sit down
it's just that there's certain people you go to for certain things. There's certain things that I will go to Stav for immediately, and there's other things I won't go to Stav for because me and him have got no patience with each other in certain ways. So there's no point in it.
I have patience with me. He doesn't have patience with me. That's how I see it.
Okay, fair enough.
And during the podcast, I'm a bit tight with him because he should be a professional, and he used to be professional. It's like he's slacking. Do you remember the old Superman when he turned into evil Superman? I ain't got no job. It's like, you're in a slump. I ain't got no job.
He's like the old Superman, isn't he?
This is my point.
You get me the drunkard.
Do you remember when he was dead drunk and you know when he's flying up? And don't worry, Superman. You're just in a slump. You're just. Oh yeah. Yeah. This come out the year I was born, I think. So you people, you millennials will not know what I'm talking about. But Go back to Christopher Reeve Superman
when he was at the bar drinking.
Yeah. And he turned into evil Superman.
You'll be great again, Superman.
I know your age. You can't be no young but can know this one. You're an old person, man. You're old like me. Don't worry about it. I know
I
you.
think that was my favourite Superman. Is that the one with Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
That's the favourite. That's the one.
Well, he properly got drunk enough. I remember one time Stab called that one Ghanaian Superman. That's what we called it.
Yeah.
Ghanaian Superman.
Kente Clark.
Kente Clark.
Kente Clark.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
man.
you know, we can't be like this because there's no Ghanaians to back it.
That's so bad.
Kwesi Kent.
Kwasi Kent. All right, okay.
Kwasi Asem Kent.
Let's move on.
To the world.
You know, a lot of people don't like.
I love you, Ghanaians, man. Seriously,
Oh, man.
we love you, man. It's all bands, man.
Oh, I did have another question. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
So
Are you crying?
this I cry sometimes when I laugh. It's just a thing.
It's his smell.
enjoyment.
It's his smell. Just be honest.
Yeah, sorry. So this Jussie Smollett thing, just when I thought it was
Oh,
over,
snap.
apparently
Man like Jess.
Chicago are planning, the Chicago Police Department are planning to
Get the FBI involved.
No, they're planning to sue him. Not sue him, but he's got to pay some sort of money. I should have actually looked it
No,
up
he's
properly.
already forfeited the 10K bond.
No. This is the next fee that they're trying to get him to pay
For what?
Wow.
because of wasting police time. Because they had to,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
if they
spend
haven't
an
got
X
a
amount of
charge
money.
against him, how can they get
Hold
it
on.
back?
Can we just touch on it because I think some people might not know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So Jussie Smollett or Smollett or whatever his name is,
Smollett.
he basically accused two white men of beating him up, saying
men
MAGA,
that don't exist.
what do you say, MAGA them?
This is MAGA
country or something. They tried to bleach him. And they tried to, it could easily be a Nigerian, which they said it wasn't, by the way. But and they tried to bleach him and they tried to lynch him as well, yeah? It could have been an arty.
No, not they tried to lynch him. They put a noose around.
They always have a noose around his neck, but it could be an arty that tried to bleach him. We do know that could happen. But so then basically he went to court because they said that he was faking this, yeah? Which we
They said he staged his own attack.
Yeah.
They said he staged his own
They
attack.
said he staged his own attack, yeah, basically. So then he went to court, and then after he went to court, he was actually so people are
He
getting
could have spaced 25 years.
yeah, 60
Yeah,
years.
he's
But
60.
what people need to get, people are getting this confused, yeah? They're saying that he's been exonerated of all crimes. He hasn't, right? He hasn't. What they've said is that basically he's paid £10,000 for his bond or $10,000 for his bond, and he's done some community service. What the judge said is that he feels that is acceptable to deal with what has happened, and then they've sealed the case. Yeah,
Right.
as a solicitor, you can maybe
Barrister,
touch a bit
please.
more. Barrister,
Sorry,
I don't know.
barrister.
I don't know the difference. You make money. That's what I know.
Morning.
Do you wear your wig? Do you wear the wig?
You can see it now.
God damn.
Okay, so that has basically happened. So now you can carry on because I don't know the extra bit you're saying.
So
now.
yeah, so the newest piece of
That's
information.
all I heard back. So I thought it was
Are
that
you-
money that you were talking about.
No, this is another set of money that apparently the city want back, and I think it's in regards to wasting police time and resources because allegedly he lied.
I think
As far
they're
as-
doing this.
yeah.
I think they're doing this because they want it underscored that he's not innocent.
Yeah.
because
Yes.
that's their problem.
Because people
isn't
keep
it?
saying that because he came out and said he came out had a press conference to say I've been exonerated
exonerated.
from all crimes.
Yeah.
And but when he hasn't,
It's the same thing Trump did with his
with the Mueller report.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's come out and said he's been exonerated.
It's like,
but the
no.
actual report specifically says he's not been exonerated. And we just can't. There's just nothing for us to pin on him for collusion with the Russia. Anyway, that's a whole separate thing. Let me read this thing about Jussie Smollett. I like politics more than this man. I don't care about this. Jussie Smollett has been ordered to pay $130,000, which is the equivalent of £99,000.
Wow.
To cover the cost of the investigation into an alleged assault on him in January in Chicago. He has been ordered to cover the costs of police officers, including overtime hours used on the case.
Overtime.
so
And has he
has to do-
agreed?
he has
Has
to
he
do it.
agreed?
He's been ordered to. What do you mean?
By the court?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
I don't understand how they can enforce it if
Well, I wouldn't understand.
yeah, isn't that I
If
don't
you're the same
understand.
people that have dropped the charges.
Yeah.
No, I think he got because remember this. I don't understand how it works because he got charged by one people then,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then he got the case sealed by some next people. Then. I don't know how it works.
No, because then he
Because-
would have been charged by the police, wouldn't he?
Because he used what was it, a phone, something that he did, or something that he accused.
When they sent
of something.
the letter through.
Yeah. Now it says that instead of it being a local thing
It's
or,
federal.
or a state thing, it's a federal thing. So it went to the
Okay.
federal courts.
And those are the ones that dropped it.
Well, no, this is the city of Chicago that has sent him this. So I can read the actual letter they've sent if you want.
Read some of it, man. Not read the whole thing.
The city of Chicago and the police department take seriously those who make false statements to the police, thereby diverting resources from other investigations and undermining the criminal justice system. In January, you made a police report which you falsely claimed that 2 men had attacked you while yelling racial and homophobic slurs. The police did yada yada yada. We did yada yada yada. We did all this job. In an attempt to resolve this matter without further legal action, the city requires immediate payment of $150,106.15.
Who's released this letter?
This is the City of Chicago Department of Law.
Yeah, but who's released the letter? Did they themselves release it as well as send it to him?
Let's see.
Because that's a political move if I ever saw one.
It's basically they're trying to because the mayor came out and he was on some big speech about this is the worst whitewash of
Yeah, I heard that.
The fact that he used the word whitewash had me in stitches because I'm thinking hello Chicago, what's his name, Laquan McDonald, the gentleman that was shot in the back. You weren't doing any speeches then. What's the other young lady that walked into the fridge? Is it Kanika?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was very
Kanika Jenkins, I think her name is as well. There was nothing about her. But the minute Jussie,
we're talking about people that have lost their lives.
Right, exactly. But
and
we haven't heard anything
they
from you.
explicitly covered up the Laquan.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So why is there no speech about that? That's what. And the thing is, it's like you're telling Jussie that he needs to apologise to the city. No, you need to apologise for being such a piss poor police department.
Yeah.
You're terrible.
Yeah, because there must have been something that they've done that meant that they couldn't charge him, or they would have just charged him.
Because my thing is, imagine getting a case like this. You're literally gifted the evidence. You should have wrapped this up with a bow and had him,
because
sentenced
they were too concentrating on releasing snippets. And
I think they just wanted to hang him out to dry and thought it would work in their favour if they just leaked little pieces of information.
A woman goes in and says, "My husband's hit me." They find out, it doesn't get to court. They find out quite soon, or it does get to court, that she was lying. That's the end of it, isn't it? Really, what happens to her? Not on a big magazine. They might say, "Yeah, you have to pay for court charges or something like that." So, which is relatively the same thing here. So, as much as this big hoo-ha, what he's done is he's made an accusation that's false. They've said it's false. I'm assuming.
He went on Good Morning America though.
And said,
no, so that interview was like.
And oh god,
if he
sorry.
was still lying about
before
it,
I forget
then,
this, his lawyer
man.
has now gone on TV saying that the people who allegedly assaulted him might have had white makeup on.
Oh my god! Why is Jussie still doing this?
No. But she I think because she was tackled about, she said that one had a ski mask, this and that.
You keep calling
and then
her
they
she,
said, no, this is the lawyers are she.
Oh, okay.
And then they were saying, but he had said that it was a black person, and she then said something about the eyes may have had
just white makeup around the eyes.
Oh, okay. So it's like white face now.
He's just making. I think he should just not say anything.
He needs to go on a long holiday.
Yeah,
right?
No, he's going back on Empire.
Oh wow!
I was gonna ask if he's lost his job. Or
They did.
Like
He writ him out, and now they've written him back in again. Apparently.
Wow.
I heard their ratings have taken a dive as well.
It's rubbish. That's why it's taken a dive.
I don't watch that nonsense.
I watched season 1 and then I was out.
This guy is.
Is he actually gay? Is he gay?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I just think that this is amazing. This whole situation for me is madness, and it
It's
shows you that
madness,
America is
isn't it?
mad.
It just happens in America, man. It won't happen elsewhere.
This is
Nonsense.
Speaking of America,
This is so Jerry Springer, man.
yeah.
It
Can we
is.
move on to other Jerry Springerish stuff? Cardi B and this whole spike in people's
Yes,
I don't know.
I want to talk about this.
to
Can
I
I?
heard
the
about it, but I
story?
didn't log in. No,
So Cardi B, once again, she's on social media way too much, but she's part of that whole social media generation anyway, and just believes the only way that you can communicate with anyone is putting all your business out there. So an old video of hers was dug up where she was talking about how she used to drug men and rob them for their money, when she was a stripper back in the day. So somebody's found this, put it out there.
Strip a hole.
Whatever she wanted to call herself, that might be the case. And now they're saying that, they think it's a bit hypocritical that she gets away with drugging men and robbing them when people like Bill Cosby are in jail for, drugging women and having sex with them. So there's a whole big debate on whether or not it's hypocritical. That's it really.
I'm gonna get to. I want to continue my conversation that I started off with Mr. Wolf, because one of our listeners actually sent this topic to us and said, "Can you discuss this?" And I said, "I sincerely hope not, because I don't care. I don't care." And I should read it. And she was like, "Wow." I said,
Thanks.
I don't care about it. Like, who cares, man? Who cares? But Mr. Wolf brought it up. Is it yesterday?
Yes.
He actually sent a video or whatever and sent it to the clip, and I said,
I wasn't sure whether it was new news or old news.
yeah,
he didn't know nothing.
I mean, in fact,
You know me, man. I'm not on that Twitter and all that bullshit, bro.
I don't know him. You know what I don't know. That's what you wrote it.
I don't know.
I was like, is this new or old news right here?
I think I want to actually read what was said. Actually, how many days ago was this?
I can't
Oh,
remember.
maybe about 2 days ago.
No. When did we start talking about it?
Just look at the media, innit? And
Why you're trying to find out what you're saying?
No, I don't want him to talk. Yeah, okay, that's it. I found it.
Okay,
So
go on.
he sent the thing and he said, "Is this new or old?" I said, "It's this week." I said, "I don't know why anyone cares." Do you mind me reading your part?
go ahead, bro. Ain't none.
He said, "If a man said the same, would you care? The current climate is probably why it's getting some heat." And I put in caps, like a bitch, I guess. How many male rappers have you heard talk about robbing, I put the N-word, and I put it in brackets because I was trying to prove a point, before they came up? And then I put a Ghanaian cuss word. I said, "This is sexism at its highest." He said, "Is
How
it?"
is it sexism?
Because how many men have you heard talk about robbing people when they were broke? Has anyone? How
In
many
every
rappers?
rap song.
And
That's his point. So he's saying, why is now people complaining about Cardi B when men have been saying this for years?
Yeah.
No, but isn't it because she said she?
Drug them. But what's the
And
difference?
and so I'll,
No. See, this is the thing.
Let him finish.
You
Go on.
keep going.
he said, "Is it? Some would say it's sexism if it's passed over as nothing. It doesn't mean it's right." And then he's quoted me and said, "It doesn't mean it's right just because men have done it and she did it." I said, "But it's not even a conversation. No one asked to be cancelled." And then he said, "She sexed these men, then drugged and robbed them," in question marks. It's like, "Is this what she's done?" And we said, "Yeah, something like that." Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it carries on going down that road. And for my thing, I said, if it's not sexism, then it's just.
You just don't care because it's men.
No, the way I see it is that many men wish death upon me. Many men have said, many rappers, because I said male rappers, I want that specifically know. Many male rappers have spoken about robbing people. No,
Including the one you was just
exactly, yeah.
sampling.
Nobody says nothing, even killing people. No one says nothing. This one says that they slipped something. Taken into account, I'm a stripper. I've taken these customers, clients, have said they want to take me home or to a hotel. I've gone to a hotel with them to do a private dance or whatever it is you want to do in a hotel. I don't know. I'm not throwing anything out there.
She was going to sex them.
I don't know what you're doing, but you put something in their drink to send them to sleep. They've gone to sleep, and then you've taken their money and gone.
At gunpoint, by the way.
Is it?
I think she said that she robs them.
Okay, well,
But I don't know. I can't remember.
Why would you do one? Why would you do one?
Maybe I'm just adding that because I wanted to add my 220s.
I don't want to add it up.
I didn't hear about no gun.
So people are comparing
No, but
it
I
to.
heard that she said that she raped them.
Yes. No, this is because there's
No,
two.
no.
There's two different situations. But can
you take me?
Hold on. There's two different situations
I
because
don't think so.
there was another video where she said basically if you want to get your cheating man back, what I'll do is I'll slip them the drugs, make them go to sleep, and then bring a transvestite in there to bang them. And or when they wake up, they just see
This guy's actually laughing about this. You know?
How is that gonna
You're
be
fucked up.
I don't-
because then they wake up and know that now they've slept with a transsexual.
Yeah, and they're anally bleeding.
So, or make it look like they've slept with a transsexual, not necessarily that they've done it. But the problem I've got with this whole situation is that there was somebody that actually, because you know there was what did they call it? Surviving Cardi B in it. There was a hashtag called Surviving Cardi B. Yeah, I don't I think it's funny. I don't care. But
Yeah, men were coming out. Oh, she did this.
yeah, but that's the point. There was one man that came out and he said that she took him back to the flat. Yeah, and when he woke up, there was used condoms on the floor.
Oh, so this is
Used condoms on
Yeah.
the floor, and she had robbed him.
I heard that this guy was apparently lying though. His
Why?
Brother,
Why is he lying?
No, because his brother came out and said that apparently he put that story out, but didn't think it would take
The
off.
brother's a
anyway.
hater.
So, I don't know.
As men, we're keeping that story to our heart, yeah?
So we can't confirm or deny whether or not this guy is actually telling the truth. It could be any
I
random
think that's
tandem
why I
dude.
might have heard about the rape thing.
Well,
then.
because for me,
I might post something tonight.
It might be true. It might not be true. We don't know.
I don't know whether or not she had sex with the guys, because I can't remember if she said she had sex with them or not, yeah? But
Yeah.
my thing is this, yeah? Even if they gave consent before you had sex with them, if you drugged them, which they haven't given consent for, and they're now out cold or whatever, they can now no longer say no to anything that you've given consent for in the past. You're putting away, but this much as people were complaining about the Bill Cosby thing, yeah, we don't know
This is
whether
exactly
or not
the same.
we don't know
It's
whether or
the
not Bill Cosby
Ooh,
was with these
no.
women, and at some point these women might have actually been on Bill Cosby at one point, but then when he put the pill in there, they were like, I don't want to do it no more. But they couldn't say no because
Then that's the
he
point.
already put the drugs on them. So it's the same thing with Cardi B. They put in a position where at one time, they were on it and prepared to pay, which is a bit different, I suppose. but
Exactly.
But then they might have decided, I don't want to do it no more. I mean, I bet you there's bare prostitutes. In fact, they always show it on the programs where the man's paid the woman and they were just about to do it and they said, I can't do it. And they sit down and have a nice chat, have some tea. You don't know, could go that way. But he might have decided that I don't want to do it with you no more. And then they slip the Mickey in it and the shit just takes all the things and his things.
But
That's if they did have sex. I'm not sure that
Do you know
if you
what's interesting?
if you have drugged someone and you have sex with them, let's just clarify that's rape.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast and they were discussing
Why?
it.
Why you listen to another podcast?
Just because I
Got
just
yours
had,
and ours, man. That's
just
what
had
matters.
time. I went through all of I went through all of ours. But this is based in New York, and obviously their culture out there of kind of strippers and stuff like that is entirely different to over here. So I guess they understand it in a different way that we would. So this girl was like, come on, man, the game is the game. So initially when she said it, I was like, what do you mean?
Those are the exact words I
was
used.
like, but what she was saying was,
don't mean it's right.
basically, it's not right. She's like, it's entirely wrong. However, Cardi's a stripper. More than likely, what they're doing, the guys, you're actually soliciting her for sex, so which is illegal. So which is why she's saying the game is the game. So if you're gonna jump in that game, you have to know that there's a possibility that you can get robbed. And if there's a culture out there in New York and in different states in America where this is a thing that happens regularly, then this is something that could potentially happen to you.
Okay, so let me reverse that then. Yeah,
I'm not saying it's right.
Hold on, let me
but
reverse that.
That's the danger.
Let me reverse that. The game is the game.
Yeah.
You know that as a prostitute, what you're doing is illegal.
Yeah.
But some man's rape prostitutes.
Of course.
So if they rape you, the game is the game, innit? You know that you could get raped because you're going there to go and meet some.
It must go to rape.
But this again,
but I'm saying, innit?
the game is the game. So potentially Cardi is also putting herself in a situation. So let's say she, some guy picks her up, they go back to a hotel, whatever, and then she tries to put, a drug in his drink and he sees her doing it. Now the situation's flipped because he could flip out on her and do whatever to her because she's trying to drug him. Do you see what I'm saying?
We say the game is the game.
The game is the game. Does it make it right? No.
If we see her come back to if we saw her online and her face is all bust up, somebody had gun butted her, did whatever they did, and she said, you know what? I tried to drug man and he saw it. People are not going to say the game is the game. They're not. There's going to be some people that good. But there's most people are going to be like, oh my God, how did he do that? How dare you beat a woman? Why did he just leave the place? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say the game is the game.
They will say that. Especially I'm just talking about in that specific world where it's commonplace, where it happens, you are literally taking a chance. Do you see what I'm saying? So the guy who's soliciting, he's taken the chance, potentially he could get drugged. Potentially she could try and drug him. It could go wrong and he could attack her. So either way, somebody out in this situation is going to come off worse.
I don't think that most men are going into that situation thinking they're going to get drugged though.
No, of course not. Because the man is thinking, I'm going to pay for this sex.
And I'm going to bounce.
Yeah. However, he has to be aware that this is potentially this could happen.
I'll get that.
Would you think that?
I think that any man that is putting themselves in a situation has got to be sharp enough to know that the woman is capable of doing anything.
But would you think she's going to drug you?
I think it's a high possibility. Yes.
I think what she's saying is
I'm just saying, it's a culture out there.
If you're going into that game, then you got to know that this is potentially what could take place.
Setting me up, yes. Drugging me, I don't know.
Like if you're a prostitute, if you're a stripper, then if you're involved in that line of work, that potentially any person that you pick up to sleep with could decide, I'm not going to pay. I'm going to take whatever sex I want from you and I'm going to just disappear. I'm not going to pay you. There's all of these dangers. They could get STDs. They could get this. They could get that. So as an individual, you need to make the choice of whether or not, if I'm going to go into this, then potentially these things could happen to me and it could affect me negatively, like really, really badly. So you take these chances and you just hope for the best, I guess.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But
doesn't make it right. It's just the seedy world of that particular, job.
As I said,
no.
I find it all interesting.
It is interesting.
I didn't think it was.
And also, as well, sorry to cut you. A lot of the men that are complaining, I she also made the point that a lot of them are kind of like, if you look at this whole R. Kelly situation, a lot of them are kind of the same guys who are upset at the fact that R. Kelly is being prosecuted. Them people there, like,
Your people are plucking out of there.
no, I don't think so, because if you think about it, there are people out there that are genuinely upset that R. Kelly potentially could go to jail.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think that's
so
the
they're
one.
trying to push up these false equivalencies. Oh well, if Cardi B is drugging people out there, then then you should just leave R. Kelly alone.
No, I don't think we should leave R. Kelly alone, but I don't think that we shouldn't. Again, I don't think that we shouldn't
Blast Cardi B.
We said this last week. You've done something in your past. You should be accountable for it.
I agree,
regardless of
but
whether or not.
unfortunately, there are swaths of people out there who believe strongly, that Kells, he did this a long time ago. We should leave him alone.
Bun them.
Cardi B did this literally yesterday.
Cardi
So
should drug them too.
honestly, you should see them. It's weird, but
Cardi should drug them
that is
too.
their
Right?
that is their equivalency.
And then they'll know.
I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's out there. Trust me, it's a reach and a half. But
Do you,
people
Cardi?
believe it?
Cardi.
You're a Cardi B fan anyway.
Go out there and
dear.
drug the man and
Are
take their
you?
money.
You're a Cardi B
Which one of
fan?
you said you didn't like it on your pod?
This one,
I don't agree with Cardi myself.
No, I've got yes. I like Cardi.
she don't bother me. She just chats too much
for her
online.
at all.
I don't want her to. My problem with Cardi B is that I don't want her to be a role model for any girl. That's my issue. But that's me being me, innit?
I guess it's up to parents, innit?
Yeah.
Make sure you leave your child
exactly.
alone.
Have you got, what you got on your list? Because I got a question still.
On my list, I have the Jon Snow's. I've never seen so many white people in one place. 'Cause I was actually watching it when it happened on Channel. Jon Snow's a news reporter for Channel 4. And
Jon
he's-
Snow.
Yeah, and he said, yeah.
Oh, Jon
That's,
Snow.
yes, that's exactly.
He's not a news reporter. He's a presenter of Channel 4 News.
Yep. So that doesn't make you a news presenter.
No, I mean, when you say news report, it's like he's the
out there.
roving.
But he reports.
But he
news,
was,
though.
but when he said this, he was roving
Yeah,
reporting.
he was
he was
out-
he was
I get
outside
it.
the House of
That's-
Parliament. Don't correct me and be wrong.
I'm not wrong. Sorry, Jon Snow. His title would not be. He's a news reporter for Channel 4.
He'll
He's
be-
the presenter of Channel 4 News.
He's an anchor.
But at the time,
I said what I said.
He's a news anchor.
whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever you like.
We ain't talking about Game of Thrones, Jon Snow,
Yeah.
by the way. Some people out there think.
That's immediately who I thought he was
Me
talking about.
too.
But anyway,
So
Pick me.
I'll do the quick synopsis and then I'll tell you what the other things I got and then you can talk your thing. Because I find this interesting because I was watching Channel 4 News. This is the day that we should have left Brexit. What was it? March 29th. Yeah. So are we the 30th today? Or
The 30th today. 31st is Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was watching it yesterday live, and Channel 4 was going in on this racial thing. It was like, it wasn't just that bit. It was like a lot of things about the racial element of Brexit.
Right.
And I was thinking, boy, Channel 4's going in pretty deep because I don't usually watch Channel 4 News. I watch BBC News, I watch Sky News, I watch other news, but I don't watch Channel 4 News, and it just happened to be on. And they were doing this long thing about the Brexit stuff because obviously Brexit hasn't gone through the date that it's meant to have gone through. That's a whole nother long thing. But as we're watching this, it's just bare this race stuff. And then as he's closing, he's standing outside the House of Parliament. There's lots of people protesting for one side or the other. But it seemed like the majority of people are, we should have gone. So pro-Brexiters. And he said, well, it's quite rowdy here. You know, I've never seen nothing like it. I've never seen so many white people in one place. And I went, and then it basically ended.
For the listeners, Jon Snow, black or white?
He's a white man.
Wait, he's a G though.
Yeah.
A black man couldn't say that. Let's just make it be clear.
Oh yeah, but there's backlash now from him saying that. Farage's listen. This is
The
how,
right wing.
This is how deep it is.
Brits.
One of the other stories is the story about the EU vote about giving reparations.
Okay.
And I was just in bed with my missus, and I said, I haven't even done nothing for this podcast. Let's find something. And I said, look for this on your phone. I didn't have my phone on me, and she did this search, and it was so hard to find.
That's what I was saying.
And the first thing was Daily Mail, and she clicked on it, and I said, don't click on Daily Mail. What's wrong with you? She really had to rewind quickly, and we had to search for it again. But
No.
it was like, no, yeah, you don't click on Daily Mail. I said, come on now, you know better than that. But we couldn't find it, and you had to search hard, and then
Guardian.
we find a Guardian article,
Guardian,
but
yeah.
she had to put Guardian in the search with the EU.
It's not the kind of thing that they want to make
yeah,
public.
it's mad. Anyways, but
For obvious reasons,
that's one of
but-
the other things. I don't know if you ladies know about this.
Yeah.
And then the last
Keep
thing,
going on. You've started on them, so keep going on it.
which one?
The thing both of them you're talking about.
And there's Brexit in general, because
Okay, so let's talk about what. So what was the problem with this Jon Snow thing? People was complaining about what?
all right, I'll tell you this now. Me, as a black man who's very pro-black and who has no issues with saying anything about white people at home in private,
Or on a podcast.
or on a podcast. Even I don't think you should have said that. It doesn't make any sense. You're living in a white country, and
He's just trying to be controversial.
Yeah,
on purpose,
I shook my head tilted like it tilted like that for real.
Maybe
because I'm
he
like,
meant it though.
what has that? Yeah, but what has that got to do?
But
with
maybe,
What has that got to do with
hold
anything?
on.
Because
Maybe,
most people that voted to leave are white.
So,
and,
well,
and he was
maybe-
just highlighting the
I
fact
think
that
that's
they
what
were.
he was
Or
trying to
maybe
Yeah.
as a white man, it's the first time he actually acknowledged the whiteness around him.
Maybe.
He might have been like, you know what? I never really noticed that there's bare white people around me. Today I noticed there's bare white people.
Yeah, his partner's black. You know that, right?
Oh, for real.
Yeah,
John-
he's with a black woman.
You can tell, man. The ties he's letting it
Yeah.
off in it. Is it the ties or the socks that he wears?
I think she's black.
Are you that, Jon
I'm
Snow?
gonna, you know, when you do Jon Snow, and then what's the word that's gonna come in on Google? Wife.
man.
I'm gonna look.
I think she's black, but
You'll
yeah.
see.
But
GOT.
I just when I was taken aback, but I just thought it was funny. I just thought Jon Snow's like
He's
look
done
all
a
these
little
white
type of guy.
walkers out here.
I like that one. I like that one.
I like
there,
that one,
yeah.
yeah.
I like that pun there. You know.
Winter is coming.
It is very much coming.
Next
It's
month.
very much
It's
coming.
called Brexit.
Oh, she black.
Let me see.
And she's the darkest of dark as well.
She ain't no. There ain't
So
nobody gonna.
maybe she's like, look, John, when you do your next
Let's slip it
when
in
you do your
there.
next
do this
news
for
report,
me.
yeah.
Do this for me, and I'll do that
just
for you.
yeah, just like make sure you mention him.
But he-
That's Ghana.
he
She look
might
like Ugandan or Ghanaian. Yeah.
he might have literally just decided, well, it's the first time I acknowledge that there's bare white people. It might not have been
yeah.
the case. But
Yeah.
going off that interracial thing, because that's actually what I wanted to touch on, actually.
Okay, I've been speaking about this in the barbershop group.
Interracial dating.
Yeah, bruv.
All right, so does anybody in this facility interracial date?
No.
No.
Nope.
Yeah? All right, so that
100%
makes it even easier.
I used to do it in my previous life.
It used to be.
I've never done it before. Never.
All right, so this makes it a lot easier for me to have this
Confessions.
This is my
He's a mad
confession.
this discussion. Because
Why
I
does
was
it make it easier though?
Because I was thinking, because the question makes it easier for me, or maybe not. I don't know. But I don't know why. I was on the way here. It just came into my head, and I thought to myself, if I was a white person, would I date a black person?
If you were
If
white,
I was a white person,
You would.
would I date a black
Because
person?
you fetishize
Yep.
because you fetishize black women.
Whoa,
Of
whoa,
course you
whoa,
would.
whoa,
You
whoa,
would.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
100%. No,
why
no.
do you have to use that adjective?
Huh?
Because that would be why they would.
You attracted
Okay,
to.
yeah.
So like, why is it?
do you know? I'm not
Why?
going to say unequivocally yes, because I'm sure there's plenty of white men out there that just wouldn't. However, I think it's a higher possibility that you would.
No,
What about you?
living in London.
Why are you looking at if you?
If
Oh,
you,
if I
say
was-
you,
If you
I
were
thought
the,
you say you.
the most Aryan of white,
Yeah.
would you date a darkie?
in fact, would you date outside your race? Period. You reckon? If you were the white person,
If I was white, I'd definitely date black men. I'm sorry. Was I too enthusiastic?
yeah, you was. Bro. You look like you was one of those Mandingo women that was. You know the one that's married to the white man, bringing him into the house for cold or whatever. Them movement there.
I'll definitely. But what if you? No.
No.
That's really
It's a bit
hard.
rough though. It's a bit rough though. It's a bit rough. It's a bit. It can earn less. It's a bit
When
rough.
you're asking
what?
us, you're just asking us, will we go for black men?
But are
Either
you-
which
are you-
way, yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Okay,
It's
but,
hard.
but the
That's
thing
so
is,
hard to say because it's like
Well, we're so. You all said that you want interracial date.
Yeah.
Oh, you
yeah,
don't
because
interracial
I'm
date?
saying as a black woman and as somebody who likes black men because it's black men that I'm attracted to and it's black men that I grew up with and it's black men that I just gravitate towards. However, if I was a white woman, maybe I might not feel that way if maybe I was brought up in a predominantly white space and everything around me was white. But maybe if I was a white woman that was in a very multicultural city, I might feel differently.
shout out Stonebridge.
Where the party at?
That's where
Do you think you
the
would do it?
bush side.
If I were white, would I date? I don't know. Maybe. But if I had the similar mentality that I do now, but just as a white person, then probably not. I'd probably stick to my own.
What?
For one of the main reasons would be because of the children. I'd want them to have lineage. Like one of the things is I'd want them to be. I'd want my children to be white. I wouldn't want them to be mixed
why?
because I'd want my children to look like me.
Okay.
And if a white person said that openly, we would destroy.
I wouldn't.
wouldn't. Not you personally.
You know me. I hate this double
But a lot of
standard.
white people would be destroyed.
So,
I wouldn't.
well, we can touch on this. There's a video that's doing the rounds recently, where it's this white man. I stopped watching it because it's a white man that said he doesn't go out with black women. He had a bad experience or something.
Oh,
with
the
black women.
porn video
Yeah, the
thing.
black-
Oh yeah, they were talking about
Had a
porn.
bad
I
experience.
think did he say he doesn't watch black porn? But it ended up, but he doesn't go out with white women. I mean, it's a white man saying he doesn't go out with black women, and
Because?
then he just doesn't want to. He doesn't
just
find
not
them attractive.
attractive.
He had a bad
Well, that's
experience,
fine.
and he doesn't find them attractive anymore. He doesn't want to go out with them anymore. And one Asian is she Asian?
She was Asian.
She was Asian.
And that was the confusion.
She was aggravating me to the 10th power. It's like I
She
really
wanted
wanted
his
to
things, man.
hit her.
And
So hold on, is this like a porn?
No.
No,
Okay, hold
it's
on.
not.
Let me give you a bit of background story. Basically, it's about a program
Maybe I can
where they
find it.
discuss about porn, yeah, and what type of porn they like to watch. I think that's what the program's about. I haven't seen it yet, but I think one of the discussions was about ebony porn, and this guy must have said, "I don't like ebony porn. I don't like black girls." I think that's probably how it started. And then there was one black girl that was there, and there was some Asian girl that was there. The black girl was just like, ooh. Like,
She did that because he said, "Oh, I had a bad experience with a black girl, and ever
And it's
since
put
then."
him off. Put him
put him off, right? And it was like,
Which black girl hurt him, man?
And so some next guy goes, "Oh, you don't like mixed race girls," but he's like, "I don't like mixed race and I don't like black."
he likes them pure.
Yeah,
right?
just white.
That's white girls. That's what I like in it, mate. That's what I like.
Good luck to him.
And it was like, one Asian girl could not leave him alone.
let it go.
She took him to the side. She was like Stav. You know how Stav is when you
man.
can't leave something alone, yeah? And he has to take you and discuss it for hours on end. That's what she did to the man.
Let me play the thing. Because I actually stopped it very soon.
You're gonna stop it again.
Play the thing, go on.
So Ryan, is it predominantly white porn that you watch?
It's rare that I watch the black girls because I don't think I'm into black girls. I just got a bad experience with a black girl that I tried to date a few years back.
You had a bad experience with a mixed race girl, and now you feel that you
fragility.
couldn't have any sexual relations with any girl that's black.
Yeah, I just don't fancy mixed race or black girls.
Based on one experience with a black girl.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's really close-minded, but okay.
Yeah.
He has got a face you want to punch.
I'm not
though.
saying that I dislike black girls. I'm saying that I just don't find black girls attractive. And tried dating a black girl, tried being open-minded.
Try in a candy shop, Ryan. I've had people say that to me. When guys say things like that, I'm sexually objectifying you according to your race only. And I think that that's something that's actually cemented in porn. You are casting off an entire race of women purely down to their skin colour, as opposed to what they are inside. I think what Ryan said was really controversial without him.
Yeah, we don't care what you think. All right,
That
so,
was really that's wild though.
Why is it wild?
Because he had one bad experience and he's like,
Listen.
I
Yeah,
but
don't like any
he
black.
He
or,
touched
or
on two
mixed
things,
race
though,
girls.
wasn't it? He touched on one, he had a bad experience, and two, he's not attracted to them. So which one is
I
it?
felt like he was just saying. Well, he.
It might be both.
I felt no, but I felt
Yeah,
like
but
he
why
was
would you
saying,
go with the girl in
no.
the first place then?
I felt like he was saying that the not attracted to stems from still this one bad
That
experience.
experience.
I was just like, that's wild.
I think that may be an excuse that he's using.
I just think he
as
just doesn't like
opposed,
them at all.
But
I don't
how
even know
comes
if
if
this.
he not like them,
how
why
do
did
we
he go
know?
for one?
I don't even know if this experience actually happened. I just think he doesn't like them, and he just was kind of backed into a corner
Looking for something to
and
say.
just said, "Oh, I had a bad experience."
And to be honest, if you don't dig black women, then
That's fine.
Nah,
Well, I think what,
so what?
It's
what
not
I-
fine to that lady that was on the show. It was not allowed.
yeah,
to me,
she-
but
but
to
she
me,
was-
I don't care.
Yeah, she was acting like she was speaking for all black women. I'm like, first of all, you're not black, you're Asian. Secondly, no black girl is running down the boy. What's his name? Ryan.
I don't know, but
We don't really care.
I think she has
Vanilla
had
Ice,
something.
you
Well,
look
she
like.
kind of said it. I've had an experience, and then because she's had that experience, now everybody must love her. That's how she was going. Like, I could have had this experience, and it made me feel bad that one white boy didn't like me. Now I feel like I must now be caping for all races, and white men must like them.
That's not her job.
I
Like,
don't-
chill.
I don't have
I'm
no
not
issue with
really
that.
mad at her though. I mean,
Did you watch all of it?
No, I didn't. I've never seen that before.
Watch
but
all
I'm
of it.
just
Watch
It's
the
a
full
four-
length.
it's a
She kept
4
going
minute
on
thing.
and on
On
and
and
on.
on.
It's like, allow it. He doesn't like it. Just leave it.
Leave it be, innit?
Nobody's running him down. It is fine.
Can you tell me why you think he's wild? She talks.
for him to be just if it's true
Yeah.
that he used to like black girls, then he tried to go out with one, and then he had one bad experience, and now it's like turned him off black girls, mixed race girls, and he can't watch ebony porn.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Why?
Because
Why?
it just seems so fragile.
He
like,
didn't say he can't. He said he rarely watches ebony porn. So
Oh, did
sometimes he dabbles.
but it's just like, would one experience with one distinct person just turn you off a whole race?
that happened.
He was
might
that
be
way
fragile.
inclined with. He's
He
very
might-
fragile.
He might just be fragile.
The fragility is too
think
much.
I think that happens more often than you would know.
Especially with men.
I think maybe a 5-foot man goes out with, let's say someone short like Mr. Wolf, goes out with somebody that's a foot taller than him, and during the relationship, a very short one, let's say is 4 months, but she digs him once in a while. Everybody else digs him. His mates dig him, and then it's like, you know, I'm not dating somebody at least not a foot taller than me.
Maybe she lifts him up.
One bad experience.
She lifted him up to kiss him one time.
Nobody, I don't think anybody would judge him and say, "What's wrong with you? Go find another." You know, anyone. Look at it. I understand.
I wouldn't understand.
There's bare girls that say, "I don't date short men."
Yeah, but not born out of an experience.
They'll tell you when I was wearing my heels, I was too tall. I didn't like it. I don't date the short men no more. Blatantly,
especially
but
tall women.
I'm talking about him saying that it seemed to me that one person done something to him, and that managed to turn him off a whole.
But that's normal.
You know the weird thing is, I know many a black man has said exactly the same thing about black women, and I think you're right. And when you use the word fragility, I was like, because there was a colleague that I used to work with, and he just didn't like black girls, innit? A black guy. And I was just like, what's going on, you know? And tell me about it, you know? I'm trying to draw this out of him, you know? Because I said that I'll be his hitch, you know, try to find himself a girlfriend, because he even had a problem finding, you know, a girl from different races.
You should not have done that.
Wait, whatever. Let me just tell the story. Innit?
Why would you try and hook up a black woman with a black man that doesn't want to go out with a black woman?
Bruv, I'm not saying.
He didn't say with black women.
I'm just saying that I will be his hitch to find somebody.
Anyway,
so just cool, bruv.
What non-black people do you know?
Anyway, so this guy would tell me about. Well, he told me about an experience that he had with one black woman, and based on that, from when he was young, he just decided, you know what, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Black women are like this. So I'm not going to do that.
I wonder if the excuse for him could be because he was young, so it became a formative experience.
It was a bad experience. But
I
told him
it could be traumatic.
That could have been. It was a traumatic one. But I said, listen, that's one experience, and there's many a black woman that are superb.
And also, generally speaking, we've heard men multiple times say, "Oh, I was with a girl for X amount of months, years, whatever the case may be, and she broke my heart." And then after that, they just treat women
a certain way.
Yeah, all women. That's why I said men do it all the time.
And so it's not so wild when you think
everybody
about
does
it.
All the time.
It's fragility, man.
Yeah,
women do it too. This is I see it as a normal thing. You might not like it. It might be wow, but I would look at it and I'd be like, there's no reason for wow, because I believe lots of people have done it in lots of different ways. I think this may just be it may be big to you or it may be personal to you because you're a black woman.
No, it's not. It's because I could be of any race, but there's not that many races. So if you're slighted by one person in a race and it turns you off the whole race, you might go off the whole of humankind.
Nah, because if you're looking at your own, apart from Mr. Wolf's brethren, obviously, most of the time when it involves your own race, you're prepared to give them a second chance.
I mean, for white, he could be with white, but then what if a Chinese person is rude to him in the shop and then an Asian person kicks him over? That means he ain't gonna deal with no Asians.
He's gonna join the
but he's happy to deal with. But he's happy. He himself was happy to deal with just whites. It's everybody else that seems to have an issue with it.
What he said was, if you listen to it, he said, "I'll try to be open-minded." So that means it wasn't really his thing in the first place, but he saw somebody that he liked the look of, maybe went to school with them or something, but for some reason,
so I reckon
this one person made him feel, let me try. And then the reaction he got from that try is like,
I reckon is what you were saying, that he didn't, what you just said, that he didn't really like them anyway, because I still can't accept that one experience is just going to turn you off a race.
Trust me,
because for me, the minute I say I try to be open-minded and date a woman with weave, and I just couldn't do it. Once she got up from the bed and it was all over there, and I was like, because it looked like spiders, I jumped up and I was scared. He's like, no, that is a traumatic experience. That is a traumatic experience for me. I tried to pull her hair, she told me no, and then it came out of my hands. Have you seen that video going around with like there's 16 black women just fighting, and they're all slipping over their hair. All their hair is on the floor. Their breasts are all over the place. Their hair's all over the floor.
Is it? It was. And why is it real though?
I don't know what the fight was about.
The weave.
No, the fight.
Look real.
No, it's not even weave, it's wigs now, because they were just all over the floor and they just kept slipping on it.
No, there was a big. It was one of them like a spring break freaknik, whatever it is.
Okay.
In '88. But
I love that clip with all my heart.
Yeah. I had to watch it again the other day.
You love what?
There's a clip. I'm gonna actually.
The fighting clip.
No, the clip of a pastor talking about. He's talking about past. Basically, he's talking about gays.
Yeah.
And why people in the church should start to accept gays. Basically, yeah. And then he was talking about his past.
In America?
Yeah, in America. I think it was, it might have been in Atlanta or somewhere like that. And he's basically talking about his past. And he's talking about all the stuff that people have done and how people have accepted these people and that people Like, I'm me that's, you know, not perfect. Am I now allowed to, why am I now going to shun another man for his imperfections, if that's what you want to call gays, for somebody that's me that's not perfect myself, basically. And then he mentioned his time in the past.
Let me find this thing.
It's going to take a bit of time.
I thought you were talking about that pastor called the cussing pastor.
Him.
He's
awful.
Cussing, Tony Braxton's mum and some other lady.
Is that the one I was saying? Is that the one I was saying? You're a hoe.
I don't know. I just saw some written thing that he'd written on some kind of social media, but he was abusive.
Vile, yeah.
I don't know about
like, how can he be a pastor? He was so abusive.
We played a clip the other day where a man
and that Sutton Manning, what's his name?
The great honourable Dr. Pastor David Manning.
Yeah,
David T. Manning.
They love him.
In America,
he does curse,
American.
and these guys.
Yeah, he's where is he?
He's a racist though. He hates blacks.
Yeah, he's
a black pastor that hates blacks.
Yeah, he's like Uncle
Wait,
Ruckus.
what? Uncle Rock? That was gonna say.
Oh my days, this man is.
Tell it. Season 1. Go back to season 1. God knows what episode it is, but we went through about 2 or 3 episodes where we just praised this man. This man is hilarious.
He said,
he's in Harlem. I'm going to New York soon. I might go to his church in Harlem.
It's not even in Africa.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He
that
said,
one.
there's no black civilization that's ever had a civilization.
This is a pastor.
Yeah, I know some of y'all going to say Egypt. Egypt's not in Africa.
Guy's a clown, bro.
Oh my god,
he's a legend.
He's an idiot.
He's the cool Michelle Obama monkey.
He has a thing.
He's called it a monkey. He's called it all this mad thing. He's called. It was terrible.
And people follow him.
Yes. He got live stream.
Black people follow him.
Yes. I follow him on Twitter. Yeah.
Why?
Because he makes me laugh. Atla Ministries, ATLAH, the Ministries. Is in anyone in New York, go to Harlem, go to his church and give him £5, put it in, or $5, put it in the plate for me. I think it's funny, but I'm going to play this clip.
The slave master did to us, dehumanize us, degrade us, demonize us, but then use them for our advantage.
It's a long clip though. Yeah,
Is this the David Manning guy?
No. This is the dude talking about, he's defending
gays. It's hypocritical to talk about the Supreme Court and calling them Sodom and Gomorrah, which is not what it's all about. But if that's the case, half our churches have been Sodom and Gomorrah for 100 years.
Listen to him.
He told me, boy, you got to re-examine yourself. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, on one hand, you quote homosexuality is an abomination from Leviticus. But you say that right after you ate some shrimp, some catfish, and some lobster.
It's true.
Nonsense.
There we go. You're not allowed to do that.
You quote Leviticus while you're wearing a wool blend suit. It's also in Leviticus that you shouldn't wear mixed linens.
It's
in Leviticus that if your wife is on her cycle, that you shouldn't go in the same house with her or even sleep on the same bed with her. That's in Leviticus too.
Yeah, you Christians out there, remember all this. That beautiful Old Testament.
Here's my point. We pick and choose the scriptures that we want to use to beat folk up with.
It's coming up.
Rather than look at our own lives. Let me tell you something. If God wanted to judge America, he wouldn't need the Supreme Court system. If he wanted to judge America because of sin, he would have judged me in '88 at the Freaknik in Atlanta. Y'all ain't saying nothing.
I love it.
Y'all ain't saying nothing.
Oh my days. But there was 2 of you that was shaking your head in that debate. Yeah, Mr. Wolf. And She Talks.
Are you Christian?
Why are you shaking your head? She's able, isn't it? Of course.
Okay. All right. So what was your just to reaffirm it again, just for those of you that don't understand, because we did the clip from the middle. This pastor is saying that he does, at the time, I think the courts in America had just passed legalized gay marriage, I think. So he was ministering, saying that we shouldn't judge them. First of all, he's saying there's plenty of gay people in the church, especially in the choir. He said, how many choirs do you know that don't have a gay person there? He's like, we are happy to have them in because they have the choirs doing well. And basically he said we shouldn't judge them because you're picking and choosing what you want from the Bible to stand on, because there's many things in the Bible especially in the passage where they're talking about, or in the book where they're talking about homosexuality, where you actually break those rules as well. So let's not be so quick to judge. We need to look at ourselves. And the freaknik part just came in because in '88 he was a freaknik.
Yeah, so good time, boy.
But we have Mr. Wolf, a self-proclaimed Christian, and she talks
self-proclaimed. You know?
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to find the right words, but I'm not very literal.
No. I agree with what you just said. It's especially when it comes to judgment. So there's no,
you agree with what he said, not me. I'm just no. What you explained, what he said. Okay. When it comes to judgment, you should not judge, or you yourself will be judged. So you're shaking your head because just his delivery, man. It's I think that there's a certain, I don't know, ethical way or certain manner that you should deliver the word of God, regardless of what religion or faith you come from. I think that there's a certain way that you should portray the word, and if you deliver it like that, I don't think that it is the right way to live it. So it's not so much.
So you can't preach a certain way.
And did you just not hear what I said? I just said that there's a certain ethical way, and I just don't think that the way that he was delivering the word of God, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. I just don't think that it was in a manner that I would warm to. Okay. So you I'm different to you, so it's not about right and wrongs. It's true. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. I don't know.
He don't like the way that he was delivering
the message. He agrees with. He doesn't like the delivery of the message,
and that's why he was asking why was I shaking my head.
So what type of delivery do you like your messaging?
I don't know.
In a calm fashion?
No, not necessarily. Just not like that.
What I would say is
some reverence. Some reverence.
Me very agnostic.
Yeah.
And if you, I'll actually post a link to this in our show notes. If you read some of the comments, many comments was, I don't go to church, I don't believe in Christianity, but this spoke to me. If my pastor was like this, or if a pastor was like this, I knew about it, I'd go to that church. Where is he? I want to go to that church, and I'm not even Christian. So a lot of the people said stuff like that. No.
Oh.
We are on a podcast, yeah.
So and can I just touch on that quickly before you go to She Talks?
Podcast.
Yeah, but we're talking.
We still film our podcast.
Just point at the figure. Said, "Is that camera?"
I just didn't know if it was. It's not. Let's move on.
Yeah. Just to touch on what you said is that there are different. Yeah, exactly.
Tell him again.
It's like you just made a 3-second issue into like a 15-second one. It's not okay. Let's move on.
So you can see why these two do their madness and their foolishness.
You take my side now, innit? I know it's that started.
She would never take your side if she was there from the beginning to the end.
Nigerian women don't like me, anyways.
We know this.
Go on.
They do.
You want to say your
find myself.
Just to touch on what you were saying about people in the comments that said, if I had a pastor like this, I would go to the church. And that's fine. Everybody is different, and you have maybe younger pastors or younger ministers that can connect with the younger audience or the younger churchgoer. So
it's back.
The way how certain people deliver their preaching and the way how some people accept it or don't accept it is nothing new. So if somebody's saying, "Oh, I love the way that he does his thing," there is a pastor in my church that I love the way how he preaches, and maybe another one in the same church that I don't really connect with. So ain't nothing new there, bro. Okay. Boom.
She talkie.
Same.
No, man, you have to say your thing, man. You're tired or something, aren't you?
No,
I can see you're getting.
I am a bit tired.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry.
No, but it is same because I feel like. I completely agree with his message. It's everything that he said. I agree with his message. We do pick and choose, and it's not very Christ-like to judge, because that was one of the main messages of Christ. If you believe in Christ and you're a follower of Christ, i.e. a Christian, then it's completely hypocritical to be judging people on how they live and what they do. But also, I was shaking my head because I just felt his delivery was just extra. I was like, oh God.
And some people really like that, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This come from an Igbo person, you know. Igbo Kwano. I'm not saying anything anyway.
That's anyway. Just the opener.
Igbo Kwano.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's keep going.
I cannot even.
Can I ask a question then? To everybody, specifically the Christians. This thing of,
What does agnostic mean first?
agnostic means.
I think I know what it means.
So
like
you tell
this-
me what you think it means. I'll just say yes or
Like you're not sure. Is that what it means
no.
in a
this-
nutshell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. You don't know either way.
Yeah.
And I have no proof.
Private time, personal life story again. I told my father-in-law this week that I'm agnostic.
And he didn't know that.
No, because
Wow.
he didn't. No, he didn't because we went.
That's how the current is that. Hey.
That's exactly what we. Oh.
I didn't get married in the church.
Right.
My wife is Christian, but she's not like a super Christian. So,
Super.
one of the things before we settled, or before I chose her to be my wife, is that I said I'm agnostic. No child of mine can follow any religion until they get to an age where they can decide that. So no matter who I'm with, I'm not trying to change you. You do you, innit? But my child can't go to church or a mosque or anywhere or whatever. Yeah. So if you want to be with me and we have children, that's it. If you're not happy with that, then by all means find somebody else. But those are my stipulations for our relationship to move forward. Also, I'm not getting married in church because I'm not Christian. I don't believe in that stuff. She was cool with that.
But isn't not believing atheism?
No. If
No, you don't believe in
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Being an atheist is that you do not believe in anything or any higher power. Whereas agnostic is that you just are not sure either way.
Yeah, but you can say you don't. As an agnostic, I can say I don't believe. It's not. But it's not. I'm not affirming, and I'm not the other side either.
Right.
But when you say you don't believe, that doesn't mean you're saying it doesn't exist. You're just saying you don't
Okay.
believe. So I know it sounds like that, but I'm still
Right in the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so
Straddling the
atheists,
fence.
The main thing is they're saying it doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
atheist
Yes.
says it doesn't exist. I'll
Yeah.
argue
Right,
with you.
right.
You know, science is
Your
above.
God is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I when you tell me about Christianity and Islam and Judaism, I say I don't necessarily believe it. But but which happens, and because I know a little bit about the stuff, people want to argue with me, and I can argue. But then I don't have I have no vested interest in it either. 'Cause I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that a lot of you are hypocritical. If you actually go back and look in your books and stuff, you can see it doesn't really seem real. But at the end of the day, it's supernatural stuff in it. So who am I to say anything? It's the same as ghosts to me. Maybe they exist, maybe they don't. I don't know. I can't say that.
You
So-
keep it, you throw it away.
Yeah. So I told him this, and like I said, we didn't get married in the church, and he was like, "What?" And he's like, "Whoa, I would have, you know what?" I said, "Dad, would you have told her not to marry me?" He said, "I would have told her to be careful about you then, because he believes that, like my brother, who's
This brother.
he's not agnostic, or you can say what he said. He's not agnostic, but he's not Christian. He doesn't follow religion, but he believes in the higher power.
Right.
I don't even believe in the higher power because I don't know. So my father-in-law was bang on, at least basically be like my brother, be like Wahala. Have some believe in something. Like
Okay.
but he's like, you must believe in something. And I was like, no. And so I don't think the religion thing bothered him too much. It's like, but you don't believe in anything. I said, no. And that bothered him. He's like, so who do you pray to? I said, well, I don't really pray. But if the times when it does come out, I guess I'll just say the things. I went to a Catholic church. I grew up in a Catholic school. And I grew up in the church. So I guess it's embedded in me to pray at times when I want something. Oh, please. Do
you pray, bro?
I don't get on my knees and pray.
No, do you pray?
When somebody asks me to pray for them, I pray for them. So if I go to you and it's like, you're going through some sort of dire strait. Let's say my brother now was a Christian and we're talking about his job issues. And they said, pray for me, bro. I'll say yes and then I'll pray for him. Because that's what you asked me to do. It's not no skin off my back to pray for him. And hopefully for
Whereas
him,
an
it works.
atheist probably wouldn't even do that because
Potentially.
they'll be like, oh,
maybe no.
there's no
Even
point.
some atheists would do it anyways. It depends
to
how.
please you,
Yeah, it
innit?
depends how hardcore they.
Just to please you, you'll do
they're gonna- But that is the reason I'm doing.
That's
I am
interesting.
doing it to please you. But at the end of the day, maybe it helped.
No, have you prayed for yourself and your family?
I used to pray every single night.
You got a
Actually,
mantra
on my
though,
knees.
don't you?
Huh?
You got a daily mantra.
I have a
don't you?
daily mantra, but
because I
it's-
could see it as a prayer, but it's not.
because I'm all about positives and vibes. I used to be a very negative person, and then it's a long story, but I got over it. And now,
You what? What's what he said?
Shade.
but I believe I'm very positive now, and
Right.
I try and radiate the positivity out, and hopefully it comes back in. So this is why I'm blessed. I feel I'm very, very, very blessed, and that's what he was like. So he said, "You seem happy. So don't you thank somebody for that?" I said, "I'll just say thank you." But then the thing is, I went home. I said, "I'm going to tell my mum and dad. I bet they're going to be interested in this." So I spoke to my parents later on. And we tell him something stupid like that for and they said, "So you're like this?" And they did exactly the same as him. Blah 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 blah. He said, and my mum was like, even if, because I know you have a problem with the white Jesus, even if it's not white, even just change the color. I know you have a problem with white Jesus. Just change the color. I said, "Bro, that's not a Christian." She's like, "That's stupid. How can you?" I think was it one of my mum and dad said, "That's just stupid. You're just being stupid."
Is that your mum and your dad?
One of them or both of them is like, "You're just being stupid." Like, is it stupid just to say I don't know? You're being stupid. But it's like, how are you made? I said, "Mommy, you made me." Daddy, I said, "I know how I was made. You and Daddy made me." And they said, "So where did you come from?" I said, "I came from, you know where I came from. I came from Daddy. You did your thing." And she like, "Yeah, but I was just a vessel. You came from somewhere else." I said, "I know you came from Daddy, innit?" I came from Daddy. And she like, "No, something else was there." And I said, "Yeah, your grandparents." Or my grandparents. And she like, "No, before that. And we went backwards and forwards." But what do you want to say about that?
No, because I was actually, one of my boys came to my house the other day. We was discussing, we had a big discussion about, what was it? Basically, we were talking about, it started off, we were talking about women having babies. Is it something that we should commend them for? Right? And he's like, "I don't commend women for having children." He says, "I respect them, but I don't commend them." Right? But the way he's described it, basically, he didn't start with the respect bit. He started with, "I don't commend them." So then the argument started from there, like, why won't you commend them? It's something that's difficult for them and blah, blah, blah. But he's like, "Yeah, but people have, like, animals have children all the time. It's something that that everyone can, not everyone, but most people do, yeah? It's not something I need to commend them for, but I respect the fact that they do it," basically, yeah? So that's how the discussion started.
That's very interesting.
All right? That's how the discussion started. And it was a big discussion. And then it ended up, we started talking about the religion. And his religion is Hindu, right?
Right.
And we had a discussion. And then he said, because at one point he just said, anyway, having children is not a good thing because you're bringing somebody to hell. I was like,
is it who I think you're talking about?
Yeah, I said, what? And I said, what does that mean? So then he was talking about the fact that he believes that basically the earth is hell, right? We're all here in hell and we're just trying to find our way to heaven or whatever they believe or classify as heaven.
In his religion.
Yeah. So right now we're in hell. There is nothing about it. We're all in hell.
That's a decent hell. Bro.
And every time that you get born, you get born into hell, basically.
And live in hell.
So
Maybe
if you haven't done what you're supposed to do right in this life now, you'll die and you'll come back again and go to hell.
Just keep coming back.
Yeah, and keep coming back until you've done something to the point where you then go to heaven. It was a mad conversation because then I said, and he goes like, the worse that you are in the world, the more the thing that you did. Basically, it's karma. He's saying. So the worse that you are now, right, is because of something that's happened to you or the way that you behaved in the past. So I said to him, "Okay, so black people are at the bottom of the barrel. Is that because we were sinners?" He was like, "No, I don't see it as that." I said, "But we looked at the bottom of the bottom. So how does it work?"
A Hebrew Israelite will come out and tell you a whole heap of things.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know, innit?
I know that. But he was like, "I don't think it's that situation. Don't really work like that. It's not like black people die and then they come back and if you're black, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You're the worst. It's just that's how they say it in their religion that whatever happens in your past life will come back to you when you're born and it takes you to hell." And it just shows you that all these different religions, and how everybody else thinks, and all these different situations that people find.
They just have very different interpretations of life.
Yeah.
It's everybody basically trying to explain this thing called life that we live. Like, you have your heaven, your hell, you have your this God, that God, and I think that's what it's all about, really. Just explanations. So people want to know the why for everything.
Yeah. It was a strange conversation because he told me a story about some man. It was a good story as well, but I don't want to. It was a bit long, but basically he said that there was a man that he wanted a second wife, basically, right? So he found this woman and he kept on pestering her. She didn't want to marry him.
Play on Playboy,
right? She didn't want to marry him. Eventually, she said, "Okay, cool, I'll marry you." Yeah.
See,
Nigerian. But if we have children, you are not allowed to say anything about how I deal with these children. You cannot question anything I do with the child. Obviously, the man's horny in it. He said, "Yeah, cool, no problem." Right? Most men are like, "Yeah, cool." So apparently, the first baby that they had, as soon as the baby came, she put the baby in a basket, put it in a river, and let it go. They had like 6 or 7 babies. I don't understand why the man's still pregnant a woman.
Moses, man.
That did exactly the same thing. Eventually, with the 7th one, apparently he just said, "I can't take this no more. What kind of madness is this? What are you doing?" And then she said, because she's Hindu, that she was in a past life somewhere or something like that, and they had a discussion with people, with whoever these babies are, because they're all there in it, and they said, "If I am born, the only thing I ask from you," and she made this promise, "is that you send me straight back." So basically, she was killing the baby. It's a story from the way they're So basically, they're killing the babies so the babies could go back to whatever place they was coming from. It's mad. And that's part of their, I think it's one of their stories in their scripture or whatever. Because I asked him first, if you just hell, why don't you not commit suicide? And he's like, you can't commit suicide because that would mean that you're doing basically a sin. So like a sin type thing. But I would say that would make sense because you're going back to heaven quicker, innit? And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that. It was a very good conversation. Fortunately, I didn't have it on the podcast. But yeah.
Should bring him on.
That's wild.
He's been on before, hasn't he?
No.
She Talks, are you with us?
I am, but
You ain't with us, man.
I'm deeply disturbed by that story.
Oh. Yeah, I can understand how it can be disturbing. Yeah, I can see that. 7
kids, you just send them there because of...
Well, there's a lot of cultural things that there's things like that.
Yeah.
Like they know that Yoruba people. In fact, I don't even want to say it in front of the Igbo, you know.
Go on.
Why y'all talk, Jay?
They said they used to say that Yoruba people, if you had twins, they used to kill one of the twins.
No, they used to throw them both away.
Yeah, in the
bury
village.
them.
Because
Bury them alive.
Because they said it was something that it's something from an animalistic situation.
I don't even know if it was just maybe the Yoruba one was animalistic, but I think Igbo people used to do it as well.
So why is ours animalistic? And yours is
no, because you just
my friend didn't mean
you just
I'm having it.
Well, don't Nigerians have the highest population of twins?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. The mad thing.
You just explained it as thing, but I think because I was talking to my mum about it just recently, and I think she said that I think she was explaining it from an Igbo point of view, and she said that they thought it was something about they thought the child had been born double something. It wasn't animalistic.
Mad thing, innit?
Yeah, but it was crazy that they actually would just
something to do with the water, innit?
Both the babies.
It's something to do with the water, you know.
No, it's something about who the child is or something. Who the twins are. Why is there 2 of them? Then they would bury them.
So what I'm touching on with that is that going back to, because obviously as Staff said, is there's lots of little bits on things that people like to take from different cultures and religions. And I'm one of those people that will say to you, before this Christianity, this Islam, all of this stuff came to where I come from, there was religions and cultures and stuff like that. So the same way that I'm saying that these lot, you take and pick and choose what you're doing. That? Yeah, I am very sure about that. Regardless of what you people want to talk about. I'm not even going to have this nonsense discussion.
It's not
keep your white Jesus.
Right, so hold on.
Keep your white,
Wait, are you saying before Christianity came to Africa, there were no religions?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Are you saying
but let's just not throw that white Jesus.
I'm throwing it at you.
Because I don't follow Cesar Borgia, white God with blue eyes.
Nigerian Christians, I don't even get it, man. Like there was something there that was. Ones that know that there was something there beforehand. And
they mix and match. That's what they do.
You latched onto something else.
They'll tell you, Jesus Christ, and then tell you about Juju in the same hand. But that's but I'm leaving it there anyway. But I'm saying the same way that I'm backing you in your situation, because I said the same way that we like to pick and choose Christianities and Islam and all these other religions, same way that Africans that want to say that they, believe in the things that happened in the past and the culture that was there before Christianity, we still pick and choose. So it's everyone's going to pick and choose what they think is acceptable for that time that we live in now. That's how it works.
All right. I think this conversation has come to its natural progression. It's come to the end.
Interesting.
Because She Talks is sleeping.
I'm not sleeping.
I thought we were going to talk about us, but you thought
the film.
Yeah.
Have you watched it, She Talks?
Yeah.
You know what? Talk about all right. I'm gonna put a timestamp on the time? I'm gonna put a timestamp on the podcast. There's actually a bit more time, but it did just come to an end. But you talk about us. I'm gonna put my headphones in and listen to music whilst.
What?
Yeah, because I haven't watched the film.
Not seen it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Mr. Wolf, Big Wahala, Lala, and She Talks will discuss the movie Us. If you haven't seen it,
too bad.
Just skip forward. Yeah, check your show notes and skip forward to the bit where I say this is where we do the outro that should really take 60 seconds, but really it takes 15 minutes. So just go to that. Let me start my music and you guys start talking.
Oh my God.
So
he hates a spoiler, man.
I hate a spoiler.
I hate a spoiler.
What I will say before I start is that I have now watched all of Game of Thrones.
Okay, well that's fantastic.
I haven't watched one episode.
I'm not even listening.
My ultimate goal is to watch the next episodes before Wahala and spoil it for him, because this dude wants to spoil everything for me. I'll be in America during some of them ones.
Yeah, they come out. Yeah. Sky shows it exactly the same time as America. Damn it. And I watch it at 2 a.m. I don't sleep right here, fam.
Spell it for him.
I don't sleep right here when Game of Thrones is on these TV streets.
But it didn't get good until the end of season 3. I do not know how people watch
Winter
it
is coming.
for week.
Winter is coming.
Week for week. It's like it wasn't good until
I might
season 3.
start it, you know. I might start it.
Oh yeah, because the final
once it gets good,
next month.
it gets good.
Yeah, but you
Okay, so if I go straight to season 3,
No,
will I miss out on anything?
you can't do that.
No,
Wait, first of
unlike
all-
something like Breaking Bad, it's not like really slow before it
Can
gets
I just
good.
say something? I've had this conversation with her.
But will I miss?
You're not-
Will I miss?
You need-
I don't think she's ready for
that are
this.
ready for the puzzle.
10 episodes per season for
She
the first
Talks.
6 seasons.
It's very
it's
important.
not long.
It's
not long.
important that I watch.
Yes, very
From the
important.
Okay.
beginning.
You
All
watch
right.
from the
The bits
get-go.
at the end won't make sense.
How many times have I said
I
this
know,
to you?
that's why I never start, because I want someone to affirm me to say, nah, you could just jump straight
Don't
to
worry,
it. and I'll
don't
be
watch
like,
it. Don't
okay.
watch it. Who's your favorite character?
The short one. Well, there's
Tyrion.
The short one.
the short
Tyrion.
one. And
Yeah,
Jon
Tyrion's
Snow.
my favourite.
Why does everybody love Jon Snow
Because
so
it reminds me-
much?
it
I
reminds me of
can't
me,
stand
is-
Jon
is-
Snow. I think he's a wuss.
Is it?
He gets on my nerves.
I would say that the acting with that program, the people that want you to hate them, they're very good actors because it's they make you hate them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the ones you want to hate, you
Yes.
hate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like Cersei, she just needs to
She's-
die in the
Cersei is a G.
She's a gangster.
She's just-
She's a gangster.
She's
This is how
evil.
I know I'm a feminist
who these
because I'm
people
pumping
are.
my fist for these women in this program. But yeah, you talk about your this while I
Yeah,
listen
because
to
we
you.
could get on a Game of Thrones
And it'll take hours.
tangent.
So basically, anybody that hasn't watched the film Us, you better press
Fast forward
pause,
now.
just end the thing now, because you got Stavros here playing his African house. I know he's doing his African house. You can't hear nothing. And what I will say is, the film has so many layers
Yeah.
that I've had to watch certain YouTube videos, and I would like to watch the film again.
I completely agree with you,
Agreed.
because I have to say I walked away from it feeling a little bit underwhelmed, and then I got home and I was thinking about it and I thought it was alright, it was just alright, and then I read a couple of bits about it and I read a couple of opinion pieces that kind of spoke
So many
about
death threats.
some of the
You're
kind
full.
of
So tell me.
layers to it.
How come I ain't dead yet?
Shush.
Shut up your mouth there, idiot.
That talked about some of the layers and the kind of like, obviously I saw everything, but just the kind of meanings maybe I missed, which was, you know, I don't know why, but I know this is not a comparative exercise, but I still don't think it's as good as Get Out. I think Get Out was far more layered and nuanced and all the rest of it, and had like real ties to like real issues. But I guess it's better now in my head than I think it was. And I feel like, okay, maybe if I watch it again.
Then I think you may change your opinion slightly.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally can't put the comparison at all. That is just a gege bread, and this one is pounded yam, or just flipping pie and mash. It's just completely different entities.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, do you want to touch on it a little bit?
No, I
both
totally
horror films,
agree.
though,
Like, I think
Both
people
very
need
good
to,
films.
yeah, people need to be careful not to compare the two, because
No, that's what I said. It's not a comparative
They're
the same
exercise,
genre, though.
but just in terms of
No, because
how
I'm
good a
just
film
saying
they were.
there are people out there that are currently trying to compare the two, and it's like, leave alone. And I feel really bad for Jordan Peele, because I feel like every time he does a movie, it's always going to have a comparison to whatever he did before.
But isn't that
You know,
every
no,
but people
director,
do.
though?
Yeah, people do that.
I think it's more so with him, because he had such huge success with Get Out as well, and obviously the majority of his films are, you know, predominantly
Racially.
black. Yeah.
Well, he's only got 2 now. This is the second film.
Well, yeah, but he's actually publicly said that he doesn't plan to cast any white leads.
people as
Yeah.
leads,
Yeah.
which is big, and this was Lupita's first lead. I didn't even know that.
But the thing about it, yeah, if you Martin Scorsese makes a film tomorrow, they're always gonna hold it against Goodfellas, those types of films.
Yeah,
there,
they
you know what I mean?
are.
It is
what they do.
If you've got a film, and he has to take this as a compliment,
Director.
as a compliment. If you've got a film that is that impactful and that good, people are always going to compare it.
Always.
Same like an album. If you make an album tomorrow, like if somebody makes, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an artist now. Okay, let's use Jay-Z. People always still go to Reasonable Doubt and say Reasonable Doubt is your first, is your classic. Is it as good as it's going to be as good as Reasonable Doubt? same thing that they might do with.
Imagine if Lauren puts out an album.
Yeah. Oh my days. That's she did. She put out the second one, didn't it? And that album is fantastic. The live one. But people will still say it's not the same as what's it called. It's just it is what it is. If you make a classic in any genre or any way of something that you're doing, people are always going to compare it. Yeah. So, and they are both horrors.
Speak about the film for me, rather than a comparison. Yeah.
So me and Lala actually spoke about it straight after, right? Because I have to speak to somebody about us, and Lala
you actually put that in a group as well.
Yeah, Lala watched it, and she's like, all right, let's have a quick chat. So I was a bit more enthusiastic about it at the time than you were, because you were like, I don't know about this film, and I was like, yeah, this film is boom, and I think maybe now we swapped over a little bit.
Yeah,
So I still think the film was just decent. Yeah, I don't think the film is fantastic. I don't think the film is the best film I've ever seen in my life.
I agree,
but I think it's a decent film, and I think that because a lot of people are saying that it's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Yeah, but people are saying that it's rubbish. Like there was some.
I think the same people that think Game of Thrones is rubbish will probably say that.
I don't know, but I'm in
simple-minded folks.
I'm in a movie group on Facebook, and some girl was adamant it's rubbish, and she said that most of the people in the cinema walked out when she was watching it because they thought it was that rubbish. But then I said to myself,
"Can you add me to the movie group, please?"
If I can find you on Facebook, I'll find you and add you. Right, but if you went to this film wanting to watch a horror film, I can understand why you'd be upset.
Well, if you went into the film knowing who Jordan Peele is,
no, but you might not. It's a horror film.
Well,
he said that. No, but he was at the beginning. He was selling this film as a horror film. He said this is going to be my horror film. What's it called? Get Out was a horror, but it was more psychological thriller horror. Yeah, he said this is my horror film. So when you was going in, you expected to see proper horror in it.
I could understand how people who know nothing about maybe the actors, maybe know nothing about the director, and went into that just thinking that they're going to watch a horror. They may have been it doesn't matter. If I know who Jordan Peele is and I know what Get Out is, and he says,
but we should compare Get Out.
No. But we're talking. I'm not. But I never said that.
But he himself said that it's not the Get Out. It's a completely other film. This is a horror film.
I know, but this is me. If I know who he is, the background that he has, the film that he's recently done, the actors that are in it, and he says that it's a horror film, I'm going to be still open-minded and expect something different, because how twisted Get Out was, I'm expecting another film that is a little bit twist, because I mean, just on a personal level, I left the cinema and I just couldn't put my thumb on what the stories were, because there were quite a few. And it wasn't until afterwards, watching certain YouTube videos that I kind of get it, and I think YouTube does help because there's certain people that will break it down.
I picked up a lot of it from the first thing. The thing because I was
you watched it more than once?
No, I watched it once.
Okay.
The thing I liked a lot about the film was something that people don't seem to care about. I love the thriller T-shirt thing.
Somebody else mentioned that as well. Actually.
I loved it because people. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember.
So they kept on talking about the thriller T-shirt at the beginning. She's very scared of it. I don't know why he gave her this T-shirt. Blah, 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 blah. They mentioned the thriller T-shirt. They mentioned it. Even at the end, when she was taking off the other T-shirt, she took off the T-shirt, the Welcome to America one. And the other most important T-shirt she put on was the thriller T-shirt. And if you see all of the stuff that happened, at the end, when the Peter looks back at the sun and was laughing, that's an ode to Thriller at the end when he turns back and starts laughing at the camera, because he's obviously still the evil one.
Yeah,
and obviously the son was clocking that she's still the evil one. I think the film was good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even clock the twist until the end. But then when the end came, I was like, it's so obvious. It's only when I watched that I was like, this is actually so obvious, because I wasn't preparing for a twist at the end. I didn't really go out because I just wanted to watch it. I didn't want to try and look for everything in it. I didn't really think about it. But for me, I just think it was a decent film. I think there's a lot of things, because there's stuff like this. A lot of people are talking different things about the rabbits as well.
The rabbits threw me. I was like, okay, what's the point of the rabbits? With the rabbits?
It's a lot to do with reproduction. Rabbits reproduce a lot.
See, you're saying one thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that rabbits is one. Whenever they talk about test subjects
and magical,
whenever they talk about test subjects in most forms, they talk about rabbits. That's what they use as testers, isn't it? Yeah, and that's what they were using.
Don't they use frogs?
No, rabbits.
And
no,
mice.
all like when they do like the fragrances, all that type of stuff, they use rabbits. Yeah? And obviously the people underground were meant to be test subjects.
Yeah.
And they were testing them just like the rabbits. So the rabbits were the original tests, I believe.
Okay.
And the rabbits up probably above are the test subjects from down below. Yeah. That, and somebody said that somebody said to me another thing that I wasn't thinking about, that rabbits are the animals that burrow from below to go up to the ground. And these guys are trying to get up to ground like the rabbits were. I'm like, oh, okay, I never clocked it. So there's numerous things that people could say about
Someone was
rabbits.
saying something to do with Alice in Wonderland, you know, the white rabbit that goes into the...
Okay.
You know, you have to follow the white rabbit, basically. Somebody gave that analogy about, you know, the whole rabbit thing.
Then you've got the 11:11, the whole Jeremiah 11:11, and then you've just got the 11:11 separated. They're the two numbers that
perfect symmetry as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. You know, and the whole idea of cutting out people holding hands. There was some kind of a movement.
Was that Hands Across America? What
there was a
that?
movement back in the day. Where, and
was
I
that Ronald Reagan's thing or Nancy Reagan? One of the two. It was
Ronald Reagan. Basically, it was to say it was almost about. I think it was about racism.
No,
it was about racism. It's about hunger. That's it. Sorry, about world hunger.
Right.
And they said, let's hold hands to attack and cure world hunger. And to cure people that are in poverty. It was about poverty, basically.
Yeah.
Hold our hands together and we can, do like maybe a telephone or something for poverty. And he was trying to say, that's dumb. And he said, when he thought about it back in the day, apparently he was advert and it scared him or something. I don't know why it scared him. Jordan Peele.
Oh, right.
And that's why it was in his brain so much to bring it in there. And obviously that was the last thing she watched. And that's why it was holding hands across the world or something.
One of the things that they also said about it, and this was the analogy with the film, was that it was that was a failed experiment. So the holding hands across America to try and fight against poverty and hunger in particular was it kind of came together after or at the same time as like Feed the World, and they were saying that they put so much into it, they put so much money into it, and actually they put more money into it than eventually was raised. So it was like a failed experiment, which is what we see the tethering as is a failed experiment as well. So that was one of the links. And also part of it was kind of like, they have this thing at the moment, which is no child should be left behind. That was the same thing then. No person should be left behind in terms of poverty and hunger. But of course those tethered are people that are being left behind. So it's got that kind of
and also
analogy to
in
it
the
as well.
film, what I found quite interesting is and you could correct me if I'm wrong, nobody in the film except Lupita at the end died was black. They killed just white folks.
No.
Only white folks.
What are you talking about?
No, the little girl died.
All of them died. The whole family died.
Other than the family then. But
they're black.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't notice any. You're right, but I thought that was because actually I didn't really notice any blacks in that kind of community anyway.
Do you know what I found was amazing?
Go on.
And I don't know if I was right in saying this or wrong. Did you notice how efficiently the white people killed themselves? Because the black people was very hesitant.
That's what I'm saying.
Was very hesitant to killing their tethered. Yeah. Very hesitant to kill their tethered. Look how long it took them to kill their tethered. But the white family killed their tethered immediately and colonized them or took over their life effortlessly. Carried on like it was normal, like it was part of their nature.
I didn't notice that.
Yes.
His face
like it was part of their nature. It was so easy for them to murder and take over that
because it was, and the way that happened as well, you wasn't expecting it.
No.
Yeah, because I think at that point they obviously Lupita and her family, they were leaving, weren't they? And then the camera just pans around to the house, and then you see the little Bradbury twins them get X'd out, and then the rest of them
no long thing, didn't waste any time.
That was it. Boom.
Dead.
Gone.
Took over their lives immediately. There was no hesitation from that side of the family.
Yeah.
Whereas with the blacks, there was more hesitant.
They were talking.
Having a full blown conversation
for dramatic effect.
In saying that, obviously she wasn't a tethered.
Yeah, she was the only one that came from above ground.
Yeah, and there was another thing that they was talking about is that it's showing.
No, she was a tethered. But she just wasn't. She was an escaped tethered.
No, she wasn't. No, I'm talking about the one. What's her name? Lupita, the original. The I don't know how to describe her. The original little girl wasn't a tethered, didn't it? The one that was out now.
Yeah.
Oh right.
So she was the one that was controlling them. So maybe she said don't kill
and
them.
she was the only one that could talk.
Yeah.
So she was the one that was taken.
Yeah.
The original one. If that makes any sense.
I don't get that.
Wait, hang on.
Okay, so
the original Lupita, the one that was swapped.
Yes. She was a quote unquote normal human being.
Yes.
Exactly. So, but then she became the woman with the red scissors.
She was the leader.
And she was the leader,
She was the leader.
the one that was leading the masses.
Yeah.
Who was delivering them out of
But she
evil.
only wanted
You
to
get me?
But no, but
Our
the
soul of
thing
that.
is, she only wanted to get out because she knew about out.
Mhm.
Because she had been swapped.
Yes.
She wanted to get out. but also, you have to notice that one thing that they were saying, I think I actually heard it on the Joe Budden podcast, and it made sense when I watched it as well. If you notice, most people, when they go in poverty, when they get out of poverty, they're not necessarily trying to drag the
Not
people
trying to get back.
They're not trying to
Yeah.
drag the people behind them back
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
You notice when she got out, she didn't go back to go and rescue no one.
And that was one of the things that they said in they were talking about in one of the opinion pieces that I read, that part of the thing about Lupita's character was that she was obviously a woman who had done well in all facets, not just coming over ground, but also in, married, 2.4 children, nice life, holiday home, good husband. She weren't looking back a piece. She
didn't look back at all.
She didn't look back at all.
And did you not? I think one of the most beautiful scenes is obviously the dance scene at the end, and also when there was doing the reflection of the dartboard when she was writing, you could see the reflection of the dartboard, and obviously when she was doing her stuff in the background.
Right.
But did you notice when there was dancing, the one below
is better.
Could dance better than the one above.
Yeah.
That's why
she
when
was
she was
the
trying
original
to,
one.
That's why when she was trying to stab her, she couldn't get her.
Yeah.
Because obviously she knows how to do things the correct way,
Yeah.
and the other one's still following kind of like what the other one was doing and above.
But not just that. Also, do you remember when Lupita was on the beach with the white lady, her friend, the wife in the other family, and she was saying about how her dance career came to an end age 14, and that's why, because it sounds like she was tagged as supposedly she was going to be a real big thing in ballet, and then it just came to an end at 14, and it's because she wasn't
as good.
Yeah, she wasn't the proper person. She was the tethered one.
Yeah, but
remember she couldn't speak as well.
No.
That's because she was underground.
That's why they told her to dance in the first place.
Remember that she had to learn she had to relearn everything.
Yeah. So
what do we think about the husband? Do we feel that they emasculated him a little bit?
All the husbands were wasted.
All the men were like really just what is wrong with this dude? Even when all of their doppelgangers were sitting in front of them, he was still doubting the fact that these people, that's your double, that's her double, that's his double, and he was still like, oh no, it's fine, blah blah blah.
They emasculated that guy, man.
I think from a film point of view, they
clearly deliberate.
I think it was clearly deliberate. I think he made him a proper B-side person.
Yeah, on purpose.
I think he did that on purpose.
Seat,
yeah, she wanted him to,
all kinds of things.
He wanted her to make sure that they know that this is the lead. Yeah. She is the lead.
Is
not
a black woman.
Not this big black man that goes out to defend all because every film we have, the stupid black man always the one that wants to go and axe to somebody or he wants to go and be the hero. This one was a bitch. He's saying, hey, when the woman was running to go find her child, he was sitting in the hospital in the ambulance like, oh, where's she gone? Oh, your mum can take care of that. Your mum can deal with that. So
at one point he did say, actually, your mum knows what she's doing, or let her take the lead.
Yeah.
He literally said it.
Which is good.
Ah, boy, I don't know.
I mean, in terms of for black women, one, Lupita, her performance playing
amazing.
both roles, I thought was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about in
you know
the actual
what I'm saying?
the film roles itself. I thought you were talking about as in the film because it was just useless.
No, just the film.
I wish they hadn't. But in a way, like marrying together both of these scenes, I wish they hadn't made him that useless because I think he could have still been a strong lead. But Lupita would have still shone as a strong.
Yeah, they could have done it together.
Maybe,
man.
like going back to what you're saying, maybe he was just trying to kind of get rid of the stereotype of black men in films, either hyper masculine in the sense that you want to fight everyone or you're over sexualized. Like there's no middle ground. Like where's the geeky black man?
Yeah,
where's the black man who's like, look, I'm
nerdy.
just trying to make my money and trying to raise my family. I'm just an ordinary Joe Blogs. I'm not trying to fight the world. I don't have 10 guns stashed in my back.
He tried to act the tough guy at the beginning as well.
Yeah, and it was just like, even that was just like fraudulent. But you've got men like that anyway, just like not about that life.
And sometimes you gotta have those people, you got to show them reflected in film. Not every big black man's the hero, you know. And you know what? I always say,
you the hero, bro?
No, what? Boy, ask my missus in it. But in the situation with that, I say this all the time, yeah. In your situation, being a big black man sometimes in those situations is not easy, you know, because
everyone's
there's an expectation.
It's not even this expectation. If there's a big fight going on, yeah, and I've got a weapon, sorry, you've got a weapon, and I don't, because I'm big, you're going for your weapon, you know. I'm gonna stab this guy because I can't beat him. So sometimes the big black man is just there chilling. He wants to go back. He wants to go home. Yeah. But because you're thinking you're gonna do something because he's bigger than me, you're gonna move to him. And I think that's partially what they were trying to show here, that, you know, not the big black guy always gonna be the hero. Sometimes he's a bit of a bitch.
But, he was a little bit.
But the white husband was a bitch too.
Yeah.
Look at us. Go and look outside. Something's outside. No, I'm not going. You go.
All the men in there were kind of backwards.
Yeah, even when she got took up, she was still trying to save her husband. Can you see her trying to?
Going across the floor.
Nonsensical nonsense. Anyway, the time is running. Stav showed that the time is running.
And just to say, listen. In fact, I would say at the end, not now.
Marks out of 10. What would you?
I will give that a 7.
Why are you putting a random?
Because we're gonna do marks out of 10, man.
Yeah, you can give marks out of 10 with that.
Okay,
I can come back.
She talks,
but don't obviously say anything. Just
numbers.
I was gonna say 7, but to be honest, there's things that we haven't got into. I just sort of, I thought the beginning bit was some of the beginning bit with the family was a little bit loose. I think maybe 6.8. Sorry, what the hell? Sorry, didn't really get to a 7.
I give it a strong 7 simply because I want to go back and watch it again. As I like films where I feel like, okay, I've missed something, and then I go back and watch it and I can dig up something else that I missed.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll give it a 7.
Same here, Mr. Wolf. 7. Boom.
All right.
Go on.
Okay. As I was listening to my music, I realized, how am I going to edit this without listening? But I'll figure it out.
There's nothing to edit.
Let me time stamp.
There's nothing to edit.
Nobody said the N word.
No mistakes.
Nobody said anybody's real government.
You're good. You're good.
Nobody spoke about the side piece they had on the side.
Which side piece?
Good answer.
Right.
Good answer, bro.
Let me just timestamp this thing. All right, and let's do our church notes and our goodbyes. If you're just coming back, we are cool. I'm talking, therefore we're cool to discuss. I mean, if you haven't watched us, you're cool to listen to the end bit now. Mr. Wolf already. Big Wahala. Church notes and socials.
At Big Wahala on Insta. At Big Wahala on Twitter. Just want to say that I've been missing my missus this week. She's put on her hen. She left me at home. Usually when she goes away, I miss her, but this time I missed her quite a bit, which has been nice. But I think that's because she's been stunting on me, though. Posting bare pictures like stunting on man. All bikini pics and all that as well. You know,
having fun without you.
I didn't think I was one of them, man. You know, my missus be posting bikini pics. I've been looking to see which man is liking my woman's picking her.
That's a topic we're gonna have to touch on next week.
Why are you tormenting yourself?
No. This is why I know that I've got respect in these streets, because no man was out there doing it.
We got to touch on that next week.
But if they liked it, obviously that's not a problem. She put it there to be liked, so what's the issue? If they start coming to say about 4 and all that rubbish now.
No, but you know what? There's certain lurkers out there.
Castlemaine 4X.
There's certain lurkers out there, man.
Of course there's lurkers. I know there's
you
lurkers.
youngsters won't even know about that either.
She look good in them pictures, but I'm not gonna lie to you, boy.
Go ahead.
Whatever.
Mr. Wolf.
Mrs. Wahala.
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram, aka Mr. Wolf, on Twitter, aka _Mr. Wolf. I had something, can't find it, but what I will recommend is us. Nothing else. Go out there and watch it, and when you've watched it, watch it again. Watch the YouTube videos, because you will miss a lot, and there'll be certain things that you just can't put your finger on.
Take your mum to watch it for Mother's Day.
No. I won't be taking my mum to watch it.
It is a witchcraft.
One time. But yeah, man, fantastic film, man. Large up to Jordan Peele, who has said, as we have mentioned, that he's going to be looking to cast black people for his leads, man. And that's big.
Yay.
Okay. Let's start off with Lala.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitter on @MissLalaReport, Instagram @MissLalaWorks, which is my personal training Instagram page. Get at me if you want some training.
Get at her.
Please do. And obviously, at Black Girl Fit Fest, which is a new page that I've just set up just so that you can see the amazing,
Just for black
wonderful, anyone can follow. It's just showing different black women involved in fitness and sport and how amazing they are. Yeah.
Okay. Word.
Thank you. She Talks.
So I remember it all now. At she_talks on Twitter.
Yes. Keep going.
I'm gonna be tweeting a lot more often now, so come and find me there. And on Instagram, it's at Ms. MS she_talks. But I don't really just add randoms to my Insta, so just find me on Twitter and let's parlay there.
Are you private on Insta?
I am, yeah. So
what did I say? What did I tell you, man? She's stush.
so.
Lala,
And
are you
also
private on Instagram?
follow our podcast page, which is _@_2 the number 2 girls in a mic.
What does it equal mean?
It's just like it's like you're hailing someone.
greeting,
It's
isn't it?
just a greeting.
I'm a Yoruba man. Am I supposed to know that?
It's like that Kilo Shelley. That's their version, isn't it?
No, but you know, there's a there's a translation.
Okay.
What's the translation?
I don't think it's just like a hail.
Yeah, so I wouldn't equate it.
Maybe not
It's like
actually.
that.
It's true. There's probably when Yoruba's got 1,000,001 greetings. One of my eyes dropped one greeting to me the other day. I just looked at her like, I don't know this one again.
Okay, you done, ladies?
Yeah.
All right. I am Stavros Boss. You can catch me at Stavros Boss everywhere. Stavros Says this week is a particular episode of a podcast. The podcast is called The Next Picture Show. It's a film podcast. What they do is they take an old film and a recent film and they compare them. They'll be in the same kind of space, or they'll find something that they relate to one and the other. But it's just one episode. It's the one about White Men Can't Jump, which was released on the 5th of March of 2019, Her Majesty's year. White Men Can't Jump, as many of you...
One of my fave movies.
Yes,
Love it.
one of mine.
Mine too.
As long-time listeners will hear, every few weeks I bring it up and I talk about it. I'm actually going to compile a list of, I call them life films that you can learn lessons from. This is one of them. There's some of the lessons. And I'm not necessarily the best at articulating it, but in this episode, they really delve deep into this film and they explain all the nuances, the racial aspects, and how it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And
Listen to you.
I'm going to my car, get my second gun.
Yeah.
Killing everybody.
No.
That's my favorite.
He didn't say second gun.
Him, I'm an
my other gun.
My other
Yeah.
gun. That's how much I
Killing
love that.
everybody.
Like, who says that? Why did you actually mention? Like, this is how much I love the writing on that. Because why would you say it's the other gun?
Because he had another gun.
Yeah,
innit?
well, that's the point. Why would you think to write this? I want you to know this person had another gun somewhere else, but this is his other gun. Like it's my secondary gun.
You motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's what you did, but oh man.
The film is
Billy
wonderful.
Hoyt.
So whether you watch the film or you haven't, you can watch it. It doesn't really spoil the film at all, actually. But with how deep in fact, there are bits that spoil. So watch the film and then listen to the podcast. That episode.
What's the podcast called?
The podcast is called The Next Picture Show.
And it has every race in that film. What is not or the big races in America.
Yeah, and the bit of the basketball court when Billy Hoyt has to throw the thing, Ghana. You have to throw to Ghana. You have to.
Yeah.
It's properly they deconstruct race in that thing and relationships.
Who directed that film?
Wasn't it John Singleton?
Is it John Singleton?
It's a white person, man. I believe it's a white person.
I hope Lala's right. You know?
Why? About
I've
what?
never heard that.
It's definitely not John Singleton. That's for damn sure.
He's married to a Ghanaian, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, man.
That-
John Singleton.
that would
I'm
teach you a
talking
lesson.
about.
You lot are so bad.
Okay, ladies, thank you very much for
Thanks
tuning
for
in.
having us. It's been fun, man.
Thanks for having us.
Now that we know where you are,
Yeah, man, pop
might
in.
come
Pop in.
and bang on those shutters.
What days do you record on?
There is no day we record.
Really?
Ron Shelton.
Mostly
He's
the
the
weekend.
director.
Mostly
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
That is the
Right,
director.
right.
He's the
Okay.
whitest of white. And he does a lot of sports films. So thank you very much. Remember to listen to their podcast, Two Girls and a Cup.
Two girls and a mic, and you know that.
All
You
right.
know that, Stav. You were so shady with that.
on SoundCloud and iTunes,
I'm actually.
folks.
I didn't do that.
And when you search, use the number 2. Not
Yeah.
the
Well,
He
word
did Bad Boys
2.
2 as well.
Okay. Well, there you go. Two Girls and a mic. Fridays.
Friday.
Yeah.
Every Friday.
Subscribe to them, and when they release, it will pop up in your stream.
It will do.
Amen.
Lovely ladies, intelligent, and smart conversation.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us,
Simple
guys.
Simon, the actor. Shout yourselves out. We'll see you when we see you. And happy Mother's Day, belated to all the mothers out there. We cherish you. Whether we respect the fact that you have daughters and sons or not, whether you give birth, but we love you regardless.
It's commend.
Sorry, we whether we commend or respect you. And I knew I just couldn't remember the word, but I knew that respect wasn't the word. He does this all the time. He tries it.
All right, we're gonna hug it out after this show, right? It's needed.
We're not.
Hug it out.
And it's a long episode, so
at least a high five or something.
No,
They ain't doing nothing.
no.
There you go.
We won't kill each other. That's about it. All right. So thank you very much for listening to episode 118 of season 2 of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. We are out.
Bye.
Boom. If you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Slag for life.
surviving Cardi.
Cardi. Yeah.
Bloody shoes.
You know, as I was listening to my music, there was a hashtag white privilege something or another where white people are talking about their white privilege. It's interesting. Yeah,
White people that are aware of white.
somebody asked white people, can you tell me of a story that you believe was down to your white privilege, that you're quite sure if it happened to a black or brown person, or whatever, and there's people saying I spit in the policeman's face, and you know, one girl when I was younger, I was broke up a party, I spit in his face, and he drove me home and told my mum that I was bad.